Here we go. We're on. We don't have the do that stuff.
You're gonna put that in second?
Yeah, I gotta put it in later.
Okay.
This is gonna be a noisy episode. We keep getting noisier every episode.
I know.
Like, I also am not prepared right now.
You should have adjusted your chair like
I
light
should have
years
done
ago.
all of this a long time ago. Okay, welcome to the Rough and Tumble Podcast, everybody.
You're listening to the Rough and Tumble Podcast.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Are we recording right now?
Yeah, we've been recording.
Nobody ever
Don't
tells.
tell Mitch.
We need a on-air line.
On air, yeah. Specifically for you, one facing you. We had our seminar this weekend. And
Boom. And guess what? Lizzy lied and didn't go.
She didn't go.
I did not go,
I had
but
every intention.
I donated my car.
She did.
That's what I hear.
So Bob could go, so I don't feel too bad.
I really think that Johnny should have brought that 03 Tundra.
I was going to. I really was.
Yeah, I don't know why he didn't.
It was raining, and I don't have any way to store. It's a single cab, so I don't have anywhere.
Yeah, with the bags and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
And so I got to get I got to buy like a toolbox or a cover or something.
Wow.
But
I was hoping we would have been able to drag race the Tundras.
I traded a used gi for a car this past week, which is I think a great deal.
I think it. What kind of gi was it?
At the Tommy, the Levy ones. It's a pretty gi.
Nailed it.
And it fits him well, so good for him.
Really?
Everybody around me always gets way better deals on things in life than I do.
Yeah, well, that's not the whole deal. I mean, I'm actually going to pay him, but
that's a weird down payment.
Yeah, it is. I told him I'm going to tell everybody that I bought this car with a used gi. So I'm pretty proud of that.
He's like, "What do you got in your pocket?" Well, 2 buttons and a piece of chewing gum.
Yeah, I'll take it.
Take it.
Deal. It's that trading up thing.
It is. It's weird.
So was this used gi someone else's, like a child's?
No.
Did you own the gi or did you?
I actually did it shrunk up so much that it can fit Cecil. Yeah.
Okay.
That's awesome.
For reference, Cecil's like 4'11".
Yeah.
And you're like 6'4".
He's 65.
Is he really?
He's a blue belt under me. Yeah. He's 65, and I always pick on him, tell him he's baking cookies in a tree.
Love you, Cecil. He doesn't listen. He told us he doesn't do any form of social media, but if he ever listens to this,
Good for him.
shout out to Cecil.
Good for him. You know, so I've been off Facebook now for since July? No, August. It doesn't matter. I've been off for several months.
That's it? Just a few months?
Well, the longest I went before was 2 years. And the only reason that I brought it back was because we had to do an announcement for my daughter's birth a couple years ago.
Oh.
And then we just never turned them back off. But
speaking of announcements, you have an announcement, don't you? Didn't you find out the gender of your newest baby?
yeah, it's another girl. So
Oh, man.
awesome. So the theory behind that is exposure to radiation. So
Because you live on base?
No, because I fly airplanes that I sit right above the radar on, because
Radiation creates women?
I think it has something to do with the it creates the Hulk and females. But I think it does do something like that because almost all my flying buddies have a disproportionate amount of females.
Is this something that the doctor told you?
Nope. This is something that we have used. What is it called when you just observe something to be fact over a long period of time?
Scientific observation?
Yep, that's
but
what that
not
is.
scientific?
Well, it's your opinion. So
Yeah, it has to go under testing, right?
it has been going under testing. I have tested it 5 different times.
5 different times. Those are the only 5 times we've had sex.
Yeah. I mean, I considered going out and testing with other people to see if what they would call would that be a double blind study? No, that's illegal. You can't do that. It's illegal.
Babe, it's for science.
It's illegal
okay?
to blindfold when you do that.
It doesn't work out that
It
way.
doesn't work out. I think you go to jail for that.
So
It's for science.
I have to do this, girl. I'm sorry. We
Girl?
had girl, female, woman.
You talked
For the
to-
record, that's where I would be putting my seed, would be in a girl.
Oh,
I don't know if that
I
makes a
can't
difference.
imagine Mitch like talking to his fiance like, okay, girl. This
Listen,
is what I'm gonna
Oh
do, girl.
no, I didn't mean it like that. Listen here, girl.
you'd be surprised how I talk to her. No,
Probably not.
You're exactly right. I don't refer to her as girl.
I think mostly Lizzie's picturing me because I talk to her that way. I'm like, yes, girl,
I'm very respectful.
That is
I
true.
call her woman.
woman.
Oh wow, I'm impressed.
I've been trying to talk about our seminar for the past
No,
5 minutes.
We have fun.
I'm excited about it, dude.
Dude, it was a great, I would say it was a great turnout. It was, but it was the similar turnout that I've received for my seminars. But this was the first time you've actually come and got to go down there.
Yeah,
And I would say that it was a fairly awesome success.
yeah.
Awesome
Like I really felt good about the seminar itself. Our like the stuff that we presented, the way that it was presented, and the environment, and all of it.
That was the first time you and I have ever taught together. So it was kind of neat for me to be able to pick up, because all the butterfly stuff you were showing, like it actually improved mine. Like it was really cool. That detail you have about scooting the hip in to really get.
I'm so sorry.
Nope, Lizzy,
every time.
I fucked it up. I'm sorry.
He was telling
was
me how
making
good I
sure.
am. You ruined this.
For once in your
every
life.
time we.
That's what I need to do. That's like my job on earth, is to fuck it up whenever you're doing
It's
good.
worked out, but
Okay. Keep
but yeah,
going.
the getting underneath the hips that way, because conceptually I know to get under the hips.
Yeah.
I just wasn't sure how to do it, because I never scoop underneath for that elevator sweep going to the opposite side. I typically will just like go laterally,
Yeah,
like kind of like open up and lateral it. But that little detail was huge, and so I was really paying attention to that piece. It's okay that you showed a guard pass after we specifically talked about the fact that I was going to show guard passes and that you were going to show the sweeps. I was like, I guess, all right, guys, we're just going to.
Well, my
do some
guard
grip
pass
breaks
was
here.
like, I didn't realize that your guard pass was going to be
Exactly the same one?
Yeah, so specific to the position that we were doing. I thought you were going to just, like the way that you described it, I thought it was going to be just like a general butterfly guard pass. Like, you know, how I have like,
Well, I was
controlling
originally
that
going
arm.
to do that. Like I was pretty sure when we talked about it, I said, "Hey, I'm going to show the headstand pass." There's only
Sorry,
like
bro.
one handstand pass, and that's why, if you notice at the end when it was my turn to teach, like I just showed it once,
Yeah.
and I was like, "All right, guys, go ahead."
You know what, though? I have competition footage of me doing that pass.
We don't know that I don't. I don't have it.
It's funny. All I saw was Mitch getting his ass kicked.
Yeah, I
When?
showed her the highlights of. I'm currently creating a highlight reel of me at that seminar just throwing Mitch
Oh,
and
God, it hurts
stabbing
so
you.
Oh yeah,
And-
he did stab me.
That was my favorite part.
All of me talking shit to you the whole time, calling you ugly.
The
I was like, "Where'd you get a knife?"
dude, it was so funny, because if there's one thing that I love humor wise, is that it's dedication to a joke. Like I love it. And so when he pulled that out, and I even asked him, I said, "Where did you get that?" Because it was sitting on the back. Like I had seen the whole shelf that had all like the knives and the guns on it and stuff. And it was like 30 minutes. He had that in there for 30 minutes.
Wait,
For-
so was it
for
a bunch of?
5-second
It was really
joke.
big too. It was stabbing me in the side.
Was it like a fake, like plastic knife?
Yeah.
So there were just like plastic knives and guns back there.
Well, it's a martial arts studio.
Yeah.
I didn't know
So
that.
we do weapon and gun, like weapon retention and.
I've never
defense
seen
against
that in Johnny's gym.
Yeah, I don't have any.
Yeah,
of
Johnny
them.
doesn't do any of that
Why
stuff.
the fuck did you have fake knives and guns?
I actually need to order them
Yeah.
because I do a lot of like self-defense
I would
stuff.
come
and-
if you had those kind of objects.
Yeah.
That sounds like fun.
I'm just gonna cut that out and not give any context to that quote, and we're gonna throw it out there.
We're gonna keep that in.
I'd come if you had those kind of objects.
That would be awesome.
That's gonna go on Instagram for sure.
But I thought the people that always come in to that to that seminar, I'm familiar with a lot of them, and
Mitch knows everybody, so
it's fairly easy to say that. I get around, and
we know.
but they're all really good people, and they share kind of the same mindset as us with that campaign that I've been on about sharing jiu-jitsu with everybody.
Yeah.
You know, and because there were at least 3 separate teams that showed up there, both under the Gracie Baja. There was another Gracie banner there, and then of course the GF team guys that were there.
My team too.
And
LDMA.
then, yeah, exactly. So even LDMA was there. So we had 4 teams, 4 separate teams, all in attendance, which is exactly what I wanted to. You know, I think we envisioned that as part of the Rough and Tumble tour.
Yeah.
It's only got one stop.
The Rough and Tumble tour.
But,
And then we're going to go on our second tour the next time that
next time
somebody
they
wants
ask
us to do a seminar.
yeah.
Yeah, but it was a smashing success. We got a Patreon follower out of it. And honestly, I feel like if anybody picked up on just kind of what we were preaching about training together and training as under the jiu-jitsu flag instead of the individual flag. If somebody picked up on that, then I'm happy. I don't care about any of the other stuff. That was great.
And I also kind of don't want people to get the wrong idea. Like, I'm not trying to build a globetrotter, you know, like the BJJ globetrotter thing. Like, that's not what I'm trying to do. I think that having a team is important. I think that having
and being proud of your team is
yes,
important
and
too,
being proud of your team is extremely important. And supporting your team and your coach and your family is very important. My point is that team should not blind you to the fact that it's okay to have, you know, experiences with other teams. Whereas the Globetrotter guys, they kind of say, hey, look, we're no real team. There's no team. There's no lineages. There's no nothing. It's just everybody training together, which is cool. It's like a collective. I get that. But I do believe that there has to be some structure. Like, you know.
I'm actually a part of the Globetrotter team.
Oh, really?
Huh?
Yeah. Haven't you seen how tall Johnny is? And his color of skin?
We got Curly Joe over here.
Like whenever he first started that stuff, I was like pretty interested in it and like signed up with it and everything and started, I don't know, kind of promoting it and did like a feature on their Snapchat and those kinds of things. And then I want to go out to one of their camps eventually. But I haven't gotten a chance to because I'm a broke ass bitch.
I know. Same.
Yeah. But not anymore. Since the Rough and Tumble Podcast seminar. Things are looking up for me.
Oh man, can you imagine? It's been a pretty amazing week for you. You got a new truck.
Yeah.
And you made a couple $100.
I got enough money to make a payment on that truck.
That's the cycle of life.
Yeah.
That's how you measure success.
But the podcast is now going to be able to stream video.
Yep,
So we'll have the whole thing up on YouTube. It's currently up on YouTube, but like the whole video up on YouTube. All 3 hours of us talking.
Hey, I think it's going to work because, like I said, I used to sit and watch the Joe Rogan podcast.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
Lizzy hates Lozzy. Excuse me.
That's okay.
Lozzy Kalogi.
I cannot stand Joe Rogan. I'm sorry to everyone out there that likes to listen to him, but his voice, it
Not a fan of the
reminds.
voice, huh?
He just has that type of voice.
I don't imagine what you think about mine then.
Oh, I hate it.
I knew you did.
Yeah.
I just don't like being yelled at all the time.
Are you
I
referring
feel
to
like-
my voice?
No, I feel like Joe Rogan's just always yelling at me.
Yeah.
Your voice is really pleasant since I've turned you down in the mix. It's sounding great now. Yeah. Oh, and I threw Mitch.
Oh God, it hurts so
Like
bad.
12
I forgot
times.
about that. Yeah, dude. Wait, we already talked about that.
We gotta.
sorry.
Yeah, you did, but we need to put that on the Instagram. Like,
I can't wait to show you the videos.
It's
I
so
have
good.
on my computer.
It's so funny. You can see the fear in Mitch's eyes.
I was thinking because when you look at me and the effort that I put into the throw, you're like, what? Why did Mitch throw himself on the ground like that?
I did not.
And so I
hurt so
wanted to line it up with where soccer players fake like they're getting hit, and they're like rolling around on the ground.
And then you throw a Peter Griffin scene in
Yeah.
there. Dude, it really did hurt. And I remember I was reminded why I don't like judo. And you were like, oh, are you a good uki? I'm like, yeah. I mean, I like to think I've got 12 years worth of experience doing it. And then when you threw me, when I watched the video, you were right. It didn't look like you tried at all. But when you did it to me, it was just like, I felt like you had like the infinity stones in your feet.
So that particular throw comes from my Muay Thai background. Because in clinch, that I hit that little foot trip, and that was like my thing. That's all I would look for in the clinch, was hitting that trip. And so it translates so well into the gi for me. Once I figured out that the Osotogari and that Sase Terakomi like go together, it like unlocked judo for me.
It was mostly what you did with my upper torso. Like that's what you can't see in the video, is the way you manipulated my shoulders.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't that you got my foot out from underneath me. Like I knew that you were going to trip me with my foot, so I got a little light because I have a metal plate in that foot, on that ankle. So I'm kind of always babying it. So I did kind of like a little bit of a hop step, but that hop step is what gave you the momentum to sling me around. And I thought I spun more than that.
Yeah.
When I looked at the video, I was like, I just spun once.
You were belly down on the ground, and for a minute I was like, he's okay, and then I was like, oh dude, he's been down there for a minute.
Don't tell mom.
Don't cry.
We're both gonna get in trouble.
You could tell on Mitch's face, he was just like, okay, that's enough of that. And then you did it like 3 more times.
Oh, good times.
It was fun.
That was great.
Fun to watch.
I really enjoyed it. The
After
drive
that
there
first one, I did not want to get thrown again, so I was hoping that I would at that point I was like, I'm gonna be the worst uki ever, so that Jonny gets frustrated and decides to use someone else.
Poor Adam, that purple belt that I brought. I think he was watching that in glee, because I've done that to him so many times.
He said you can see in the video where it starts shaking because he's laughing.
Him and Nicole, and I do it to him like, I know that they're going to go with the throw, so I just do it like I don't even care about them, you know? And they commit to it. It's great. I love judo.
It was so hard. I liked the fellowship afterwards.
The fellowship, yeah.
I thought that was really good.
Yeah, we had it was really a good time.
Did you get, what did
probably
you guys...
wasn't the best idea that we drank.
Worst. Here's why. It wasn't a bad idea that we drank. Here's why it was a bad idea. Is I didn't drink any water all the way there. I had a honey bun whenever I got to the gas station and met up with you.
Oh, God.
And then taught a kids seminar, and then drank 3 beers. Still no water.
Yeah, no water.
I had a shrimp po' boy, and then that's what I have every time.
Always
if I'm in the
orders a
state of
shrimp po' boy.
Louisiana.
I have a shrimp po' boy.
And it's never good.
Dude, we went.
And
No,
he
it was
keeps ordering
delicious.
it.
I loved it.
Okay, well,
It
you've
was
had
good.
one good shrimp
No,
po' boy.
that's not true.
No, that's not true.
You remember the where I fell in love with that girl in New Orleans that was playing music on
the street?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was really good shrimp po' boy.
That was just like
That
fried
got
shrimp
me,
and
that
a
got
bun.
me hooked.
Yeah, it's a po' boy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So do you guys know where the name po' boy comes from, right?
No,
So it's
Oh, no.
it stands for poor boy. It comes from the phrase poor boy.
Yeah.
I can imagine.
And so like in like the the 20s and 30s and 40s and stuff like that, street vendors would sell that to make extra money for the union workers who were eating on their lunch breaks and stuff, and they would just call them po' boy sandwiches, because it was nothing. It was just a hoagie with seafood on it. That's what it was. So
Jonny likes the simple things.
It's so good.
and then
I
usually
love
they,
them.
they have sauce they put on there,
Yeah.
whether it be mayonnaise or coleslaw, whatever.
But the moral of the story was, don't drink alcohol and not water, and then train, because then you just dehydrate yourself even more.
I hurt really bad
Wow.
today.
I
Thank you
hurt
for that.
horribly. I hurt my neck. I felt sick whenever I was training the whole time, and I pushed through it, but it was rough.
Yeah, it wasn't great. And then Jonny just kept making references to being drunk while he was teaching. So
Yeah, it was an adult seminar.
I
They
know.
knew what they were getting into.
I looked around at a couple of the adults, and at one point they were kind of talking to each other, and I'm assuming it was the first time you made the joke, it was like, oh, and then like a couple more times, I think people started to go, oh, he's being serious. It's like,
3 beers gets me there, bro. Like,
yeah.
I was feeling it.
Yeah, because Adam had 2, and then you and I had 3. You were only going to have 2, and then I was like, no, you're going to have another one.
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, I guess I'm having another one.
Yeah, and so being dehydrated probably helped with being inebriated. But what are you gonna do?
Nope. I like it for the experience.
Oh yeah.
So
You gotta you gotta torture yourself sometimes just for the love of the game.
plus it makes for a good story. Like we'll always talk about the time that we weren't drunk. Let's make it very clear. Like, we only had 3 beers, but
that's drunk for me.
that's for 2 guys who don't drink that often. Like, you know, plus we were probably both dehydrated because I know I was. I'd been hadn't got a lot of sleep throughout the week and was pretty tired. I'd stayed at my sister's. And
likewise.
Stuff, so. Yeah.
Yeah, I drink pear ciders.
Yeah, exactly.
Johnny
Have one
drinks
with
the
dinner.
most girly drinks that I've ever seen. What are those White Claws?
Yeah, White Claws.
I
had
didn't
to
even
stop
know what
drinking
those were.
Those are
And Johnny's
good.
like, "Oh, have you had these White Claws?" And I was like, "No."
So I have, and maybe Lizzy can answer this better than me because she's a doctor, but it's a disorder, not a disorder, but it's a genetic deficiency that Asians have as well, where
Whoa.
the ethanol, your body can't break the ethanol down, and so if I drink certain alcohols, it gives me asthmatic symptoms. So I'll wheeze and like my chest will tighten up and everything like that, and I'll usually get a rash on my chest. And White Claws are one of the drinks that will do that. So does Crown Apple and any sort of corn.
That's one of my favorites.
I
is
know.
Crown Apple.
I have to, if I drink more than like 3 little cocktails,
Actually,
I'll start to
I apologize. Crown Apple's not the Crown Vanilla.
Crown Vanilla. Yeah, that's another one that does
That
it.
shit is good.
Certain whiskeys, corn alcohol like vodka will do it. Budweiser does not. So
That's unfortunate.
it's really weird. I don't know what it is.
So
It's
you're
just
just doomed to be a redneck and drink Budweiser
Yeah.
your whole life.
it's I never thought about it like that. Where
It's because
my DNA is so ingrained with redneck trash.
just everyone from Louisiana, they
Natty
can only
Light.
drink
I can't.
Natty Light, Budweiser,
My body can't even
Busch Light.
process anything other than straight Budweiser.
and Catfish.
I also
You're thinking about it now.
it makes so much sense.
You're putting your whole life together right now.
No, I was thinking about the joke
What
that you
was
made
in my bottle?
where we were talking about. I think it was when we got back for the adult seminar, and we were talking about you're getting ready to teach your technique, and you started talking about spousal abuse, but you weren't like making jokes about spousal abuse, but something to the effect of like you told me to stay in the truck or something like
No,
that.
yeah. Said I've been drinking. I'm feeling abusive
That's
today.
what it was. Yeah,
Because I hit a knife and then stabbed Mitch.
that's what it was.
I threw him on the ground like I did that with the Osoto Gari too. I
Yep.
threw you like 3 times.
Yes, you did.
And was just really I was rude and aggressive.
Well, every technique
I'm
you
sorry.
showed, whenever you showed the arm lock, you almost broke my nose, and then you elbowed me, and that's when I was like, that's when you heard me go every fucking time, and that's
No,
what I was
that
referring
wasn't-
to.
was that the elbow? I think I like landed on your face one time too.
Yeah.
Whenever I swept you,
I
because
was like, none of this makes any sense. Like Johnny has to have more body control than this.
yeah. Well, also you didn't know anything that I was about to do
Yeah,
and how that reaction was gonna go. It was you know how that is. Like
Yeah.
when you're going with somebody new.
Oh yeah, because you were doing the Barambolo piece, and you came back over,
Yeah.
and then you hit me in the
Oh,
head.
that's what it was. Yeah.
It was like every time you showed a technique, I was getting hurt. I was like, this doesn't make any sense.
I'll teach like a berimbolo on somebody that like I've sometimes like when people don't know what you're trying to do, then they like accidentally defend it. You know, like somebody will just like stiffen out while I'm trying to berimbolo, and I'm like, you see, like you adjust your legs and then you do it, and they're like 3 feet away from you. And I'm like, oh, cool.
I trained with that guy, Willie, the one that was asking you the Barambolo questions.
Yeah.
I trained with him afterwards, and he was trying to hit it. He was
That's
trying to
awesome.
do it.
Yeah, good.
I was just shutting it down, you know.
Yeah, right.
So-
I mean, that's how it goes.
Barambolo doesn't work in the streets, so
No,
everybody knows that.
I reserve those moves for like, that's like my my Hail Mary. Like nothing else is working. I'm gonna throw this at him and see where it goes.
You're like, I'm gonna dangle this toe hold in front of him.
Yeah. But the like most of the time it's higher level guys that it ends up happening with. Like,
Hashtag Kevin Williams.
yeah. Damn it. But it's always like those higher level guys where they're shutting down my butterfly and my X guard. Like it works on Jared. You know?
Yeah.
It worked on Danilo one time when he came in, but whatever.
So after the QAnon episode that we did last week, I started like going down some rabbit holes again.
Good. Yeah.
With the
'Cause
conspiracy
we need
stuff.
some content.
And I started looking in. There was another one. Oh yeah, I looked into Pizzagate again,
Yeah.
and then I realized how ridiculous that was.
Pizza. Do you want to order pizza tonight?
Ooh.
Stuffed crust from Pizza Hut.
No, we have food.
That's what every mom says.
She says that to me every fucking day.
Well, I mean, we spend our
No, we
money on
have food at home.
groceries.
That's
and
hilarious.
Bob
Yeah.
wants to go out to eat
Right.
and be unhealthy.
Let's go back to Pizzagate.
No, we have. That's exactly what my mom says. No, we have food.
Yeah.
I know that. I don't want to eat any of it though.
I don't want to talk about this anymore. I want to talk about Pizzagate.
But I was thinking about how somebody brought up because they were from New York or whatever, and they had brought up the fact that like they've been to that pizzeria, and they were like, there's no way.
Wait, time out. I don't
Yes.
even know what you guys are talking about.
Pizzagate?
What?
Can you explain the subject?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Okay,
okay.
there's a thing. Oh, actually, Alex Jones had a lot to do with it.
yeah.
I was gonna say that Joe Rogan reminds me of Alex Jones.
Yeah.
And vice versa.
He's like a more conservative version of Alex Jones.
yeah.
Anyways, so they basically perpetuated this idea
Oh,
that
I think I remember this. But
Oh, now
keep
you
going.
remember.
Keep
Yeah.
going. I remember the Alex Jones and the pizza. Yeah, keep
the
going.
Clintons
Though.
had a pedophile, the pedophile ring.
Yes.
And,
yes, and it was like in a
um,
pizza shop or something.
Yeah, there was
Yeah.
basically a sex dungeon and a pizza shop, and there was like a bunch of satanic imagery.
It was
all of
Comet Pizza was the name of the pizzeria.
Was it in DC?
It's New York, I think.
Oh, Comet Pizza? Isn't that the one from Toy Story?
What?
Is that what you said? Comet Pizza?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one from Toy Story, isn't it?
I don't
What does that
know.
have to do with
Yeah.
location? Are you just making a generalized comment?
No,
Maybe
the
that
name
makes
the
sense.
name of the pizza place is Comet Pizza.
It was Comet Ping Pong.
Oh my god. The name of the
Anyway.
pizza place in Toy Story is Comet Pizza. I'm putting the pieces together.
You're making it.
Anyways,
So now Disney's involved.
yes. And
John Podesta was the guy who owned the Comet Pizza place.
it was oh really?
Yeah.
Oh, so it had to do with those like email things?
Nope, I'm a liar. I was reading Wikipedia the wrong way.
Podesta
You're 100.
emails?
Wait, hold on. Yeah, it was March 2016. The personal email account of John Podesta, Hillary Clinton's campaign manager, was hacked
That's what, and
Yeah.
it like stems from that,
in a
correct?
spear phishing attack.
What?
That's a weird
Yeah,
name.
this is. We've got to stop doing this. We're drawing a weird picture right now in a spear phishing attack.
That's really it's called. Spear
You've got
phishing.
so far. You've got John Podesta owns a pizzeria. A sex dungeon is. This is how conspiracies are made.
It falsely the Pizzagate falsely claimed that the emails contained coded messages that connected several U.S. restaurants and high-ranking officials of the Democratic Party with an alleged human trafficking and sex ring, which it's true. It's all true. One of the establishments allegedly involved was the Comet Ping Pong restaurant and pizzeria in Washington, D.C. You're right. It was in Washington,
Okay.
D.C.
And so, but nowhere in their searches did they find Epstein Island. They went to a fucking
That's-
pizza shop instead.
It was debunked, apparently. It says the conspiracy theory has widely been discredited and debunked. It has been judged to be false after detailed investigations by the fact-checking website Snopes.
So Snopes has the final word.
Yep.
Yeah.
And the New York Times. Numerous news organizations have
Snopes
debunked it.
and the New York Times.
Yeah, they're in the same bed together.
I mean, after the whole Jeff Epstein thing,
Which
I
actually
believe-
happened.
I
Yeah.
believe anything.
Nothing is impossible.
Well, I mean, isn't that like all the movies that we see and stuff? It was literally like from a movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like all those things actually happen.
What
mean,
do you mean? Like which things?
Sex trafficking and
Well, yeah, that's a real thing.
yeah,
I mean, we have to get training on it in the military all the time.
you have
The,
to sex
uh,
traffic.
Let me tell you this story. Speaking of sex trafficking.
I can't wait.
So,
Mitch is sex trafficked. I can't
yes.
wait.
So, I get a phone call the other day.
Oh, yeah.
You know, it's gonna be a story when Mitch goes. Okay.
So I won't tell all the details, but I will tell
Dang it.
some of the details. It doesn't necessarily involve me, but I was involved. So, so I get a phone call on Thursday morning from
The CIA.
my live-in, right? And she says, "I need you to call me immediately. I just got a really creepy phone call." So I'm like, great. So I call her and I said, hey, what's up? She said that some guy had just called. It was like 7 in the morning, by the way, 7:30 in the morning. Some guy had just called her and said, hey, is this beep, beep? See, I'm hiding her identity because I don't want this creepo to find her. But eventually,
Good job.
Wow.
But essentially, he knew her first and last name. She has a very her last name is fairly uncommon, and he knew it and could spell it.
Like Kalegi?
Yes, something similar to that, right?
Okay.
That's actually what her last name is.
Wow.
And
I figured it out.
and he goes, and she was like, yeah, this is beep beep. And so
You living with Mitch?
it's progressed that far now.
Yes. Sorry, Johnny.
And so he goes, hey, I got your phone number from someone named Scotty. I bought a camera for him. I bought a digital camera from him.
Who buys digital cameras anymore?
Very good question. And he said that there was an SD card in the camera and that the SD card had a ton of naked pictures of her on it and that he wanted to meet up somewhere to give it back to her. Luckily, she's not retarded and didn't fall for it, but did ask for, proof. Send pictures. Send these pictures to me so I can see them to see if this is even me. There's no way this could be me, but, and he's like, yeah, it's just a bunch of pictures of you getting out of the shower and all kinds of creepy stuff, right? So he does.
Go on.
So he does send the pictures, and they were, obviously stock photos from porn sites, right? And she's like, that's not me. And he's like, oh. And then he starts trying to sext with her. And finally she was just like, I'm calling the cops. Like, we're done.
Yeah.
I turned it in to the Air Force Office of Special Investigations. But ultimately, what can you do? Because there's so many text masking apps out there
Yeah.
that we traced the number back to an individual in Greers Ferry, Arkansas. But there's no proof that that's who that is.
Right.
He could have easily have used that as a he basically pirated that guy's
As a
number.
read.
She could have completely avoided the situation by just not answering the phone.
And she normally doesn't.
That's what I do 100% of the time.
Ignore.
Agreed. Now I kind of wish that she hadn't answered the phone, right? Because she basically confirmed she was who she was, and we went on a couple of different options, and looked at maybe her number's attached to Facebook, and then he was stalking her on Facebook and got it that way.
Yeah.
And all he had to do was go through her friends list, find one that has tagged her more often than others and go, okay, well, she will definitely know this individual. So it won't seem weird because my best friend's name is Scott. And the individual he bought the camera from's name was Scotty. And it's like,
My name's not Scott.
I just want to point out that Johnny has made it clear on multiple times that I am not his best friend.
I have like 8 best friends.
I have 8 best friends. We're all ranked.
Wow.
And
Oh,
my
you're so
top 8.
popular.
I did refer to Johnny as one of my closest friends at the seminar.
You did.
So
Well, I've heard you say that
I
before.
called him
hey,
ugly.
he's one of my closest friends. And he called me ugly a bunch of times. So I respect Johnny's opinion. Not the ugly. Well, not that opinion.
I think that's what makes me and Mitch work is that we're not afraid to use each other to be the butt of the joke,
Yep.
and neither one of us gets offended by
Nobody
it.
gets offended.
Yeah.
You guys are such a good couple.
Oh,
know.
we're
Much better than-
cute.
I know.
Mitch is drinking like a 5,000 fluid ounce can of Red Bull right now.
It's
Diet
true.
Red Bull.
Well, you got to make sure you get that.
Wait, put it up to your head. It looks like it's like the same
same
size as Mitch's head.
It's an 8-pound.
We should take a picture of it.
It's an 8-pound glass of Red Bull
It's a glass.
container.
The phone doesn't recognize my face when the microphone is in front of it.
That's because you weren't born with a microphone on your face.
You don't know that.
That's true. I wasn't there.
Yeah.
Or was I?
You're still holding. You're still holding.
You said you were gonna take a picture.
I'm trying to. Okay, you ready? It was a video. No, I'm just kidding.
It's good. I was posing. It just took you 30 minutes to get your camera brought up.
Speaking of cameras, we got all of the techniques from the seminar on video and all of our best jokes.
Did you say strokes or jokes?
Best jokes.
I didn't say any
Swore
jokes.
you said strokes.
No, that will be a later video that I'm posting.
You're posting it?
The strokes, yeah. JK. On our Patreon, we're going to be
Yep.
releasing all of that.
So we were supposed to give a shout out to everybody that came to the seminar.
I got the list.
Do you?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Because Joey never sent it to me.
Boom. He sent it to me because he knows what's up.
I guess he's moved on
Wow,
to a
good
different
job,
black
Bob.
belt. Joey hops from black belt to black belt.
I wasn't going to say anything,
So
but you don't. You can call me Sensei now.
I didn't think that was funny.
Anyways. So Joseph Wells.
Joseph Wells, who is the owner.
Joseph Wells.
Thank you. Let's all chant their name.
Are we all gonna say
What
it?
is that from? What movie is that from? Where
Fight
they do
Club?
that? It is from Fight Club. Because what was his name was...
Robert Paulson.
That's what it was. His name was Robert Paulson.
His name was Joseph Wells. Do you really want me to go through all these?
Yes.
Yes, I'm not going to repeat them,
I want to.
but Lizzie's going.
Yeah, because I wasn't there.
Okay. Yeah, you need to tell everybody thank you. So this is gonna be
Yeah, keep going.
you didn't shake anybody's hands.
That's right.
No.
Adrian Abels.
Adrian Abels.
What do you say?
Thank you.
Thank you.
There you
Okay.
go.
Use your manners. Orem Young.
Wait, say that again.
Orem Young.
How do you spell that?
Orum.
I kind of like that.
It's-
Orem
I know.
Young.
I said the
It's a
same
Thank
thing.
you for that name.
It's one of the coolest names. That's what I
cool.
said too.
Yeah.
He's also one of Joey's business partners who's helping him with the new school.
Yep. Which
He's
is
an attorney.
Looks awesome, by the way.
He does.
Joe Moore.
Joe Moore,
Is also an attorney.
also an attorney. Thank you.
Waiting.
There we
Thank
go.
Should I
you.
say thank you in like a different language each time?
Can you?
Do you know how to do that?
I mean, no.
How many
Don't offer
I
something.
mean, no.
You get two children like me and Johnny in the room. We expect that.
Yeah. Elijah Powell.
Elijah Powell.
Mm-hmm.
Gracias.
There you go.
There you go.
Okay. Next one. Okay. Ready?
Yeah.
Where was I? Did I say Elijah,
Elijah Powell, yeah.
Okay. Jonathan Robert.
Jonathan Robert. Shishi.
That's not real.
It is.
Shishi sounds like fish food.
What language is
It
that?
is.
Is it Chinese?
Chinese. Mandarin.
Do you want another language?
Wait, let me think here. Okay, yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Josh Long.
Josh Long.
Oh, I
Merci.
accidentally.
What?
Josh Long is a real person. He actually is a new Patreon subscriber too.
Yes.
What's
Thank you,
awesome?
Josh Long.
Josh Long bought a patch, and
He fooled the system. We gotta figure out a better way.
because he was like, I don't have any money, so I'll just subscribe to your Patreon. And it's like, oh shit. Well, now we got to give you more than a patch.
I accidentally thumbs down my own message to Joseph Wells in this process.
Oh my God.
In this process.
He's gonna be like, what did I do
I
wrong?
just typed and I was like, sorry, bro. Okay. Willie Holloway.
Willie Holloway.
Mm-hmm.
Merci.
There you go.
Did you tell Josh Long thank you?
Yes.
Yeah, she said it in American.
Okay. Garrett Stallings.
Garrett Stallings.
Mm-hmm.
How do you say thank you in Portuguese?
Obrigada.
Oh, yeah.
Obrigada.
You can also say Brigada.
Obrigada. Nobody says that.
Obrigada.
Except for them.
Everybody but them says that.
Yeah. Michelle Moses.
Michelle Moses.
Who is Yeah, go ahead.
How do you say it in German?
Dankeschön or Danke?
Dankeschön.
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 Mm-hmm.
I think it's Du hast.
Or Danke.
Du hast mich.
I thought it was Dankeschön, darling, Dankeschön.
Du hast mich, du Frau.
Well, they usually don't sing it when they say it.
It's
So.
true.
I think it sounds better
You're thinking
that
of the
way.
Dutch.
Dominique Moses.
Dominique Moses.
They are mother and daughter.
Mm-hmm.
Both
I-
purple belts.
I like the name.
Dominique.
I don't have another language though.
Well, you still need to say thank you.
Thank you.
Matthew Mathern.
Wait, was it Mathern?
I think so, yeah.
Matthew Mathern.
He was the really athletic blue belt.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Thank you for being an athletic blue belt.
Good job, Matthew. Now learn jiu-jitsu.
Kai Crimes.
Who?
Who?
Kai?
Kai?
Oh, okay, yeah.
Kai Crimes. Like CRIMES.
That's a pretty cool name.
That is a cool name.
What's up? I'm
Fighting
Kai.
Crimes.
Kai Crimes.
Kai Crimes.
It's his rap name.
Yeah.
Thanks for fighting crimes.
Max. Okay, this doesn't make... You can't put a D and an L.
Let me see it.
Deluggish.
Where is it?
The bottom two.
Dogash.
All right.
Dolgosh.
Max and Mike Dilgosh.
Dilgosh.
Delugosh.
Wait, I don't know what you were saying.
Dolgosh.
Mike and Max Dologosh.
Imagine that somebody punched you in the neck
Max
right
and
as you were
Mike.
making the D sound. Dogash.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good job, Lizzy.
Thank you, guys.
That's it?
Yeah.
No
that's
one
all.
else?
Yep.
What
We
about,
didn't get the kids. I don't want to.
What about Nicole? Was she there?
No. Oh, and Adam Barron. Thank you.
Oh, Adam Barron.
Adam
yeah.
Barron.
What about him?
Thank
The
you.
resident camera purple belt.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he pretty much he's already seen all that stuff. Like that's my A game. That's my seminar.
I figured it
game,
was.
You know.
That's what it felt like. Every time.
But yeah, those are the people that came to the seminar, and thank you. And we got a Patreon follower out of it, and thank you to you as well. But back to the conspiracy theories. What else were you going to talk about?
So I was going down a path, and then I got distracted.
We were talking about
By
Pizzagate.
pizza.
I know what we were talking about. I was just trying to remember why I brought it up.
Excuse me.
I was looking at the
Sorry, babe.
photos from the Epstein compound,
Uh-huh.
and they had like an 8-person shower with like all these like lubes and creams. And, like,
Nice.
wouldn't that be kind of fun though?
Yeah, it would.
I mean, I think I would like.
Let's back up though. We're talking about children.
Well, I'm not.
You're
I
talking
didn't
about
say
children.
anything about children.
I feel uncomfortable getting ideas from Epstein.
All I said was there's an 8-person shower with a bunch of lubes and soaps, and wouldn't that be fun?
Well, here's what we're going to do in our house. We're going to have the contractor come in and say, "Have you ever seen the shower at Jeffrey Epstein's house?" That's what we
That's
That's
want.
what we're looking for.
Oh, yeah. I put in 3 of these this week.
I mean, you could like do
It's really
laps in
popular
that
right now.
shower.
Yeah. Why
Like
are
you-
the seats so small?
I like how Lizzy said you could do laps in
You
the
could
shower.
do activities. Like you could have a beach ball and you could like throw it around and play
I
ball.
don't like this conversation.
You know that there's a
We're not
Chevy
talking
Chase
about-
neighborhood in D.C.?
What?
It's actually, there's a neighborhood in Washington, D.C. called the Chevy Chase neighborhood.
That's okay.
I don't
anyways.
know like if I feel okay about that.
It's a real place.
That's what you
Neighborhood in
don't feel okay about?
Like what is
Northwest Washington, D.C. borders Chevy Chase, Maryland. There's a whole city named after Chevy Chase?
Wouldn't
Wait,
that
was
be
it named
awesome?
after him
What a
or was it
baller.
just named that?
What are the odds?
Let's see.
Lizzy?
I don't know. Let's put it into an odd machine and find out.
Let's see. Chevy Chase, Maryland is the name of both a town and an unincorporated census designated place that straddles.
And they're not going to bring up the actor?
They're not mentioning once that there's a human being walking around.
A famous human being?
The name Chevy Chase is derived from Chevy Chase, the name of the land patent to Colonel Joseph Belt.
Shut the
Boom.
fuck up.
Not
No.
fucking around. That's the truth.
Get out of town.
From the Charles Calvert, 5th Baron, Baltimore on July 10th.
Then you need to find out what Chevy Chase's real name is. That
Yeah.
can't be his.
That's obviously not his real name.
Yeah.
There's no way.
This is a conspiracy theory.
Whoa.
How did we not see this?
And this is where the pizza shop is.
Yes.
It's in an 8-person shower.
Yeah, Disney, Chevy Chase. There's Chevy Chase.
You
in
could
a
put
Disney movie?
a table in the shower and eat pizza while you take a shower.
You're still talking about the Epstein shower.
Get over the shower.
I'm not talking about anything to do with Epstein. I'm saying an 8-person shower sounds really cool. You could do a lot of activities in there.
You can put bunk beds
You
in
eat
there.
pizza.
You can eat pizza in there. Apparently there was a ballad, a Scotland ballad entitled "The Ballad of Chevy Chase."
Okay.
Wow, why is this a thing?
This is going so deep.
It's the French
That's
way of
what
saying
she
it
said.
is "chevaches."
You guys missed it.
Border raid is what it means.
I
What'd you
heard
say?
It just wasn't funny.
Oh, burn!
Yes,
But
we
the-
don't have our sound
Sick
effects
burn.
today. Damn it.
But the
Sick
thing
burn.
is, it was.
This
We'll
is
let
just
the
a
people
whole,
decide.
This is a whole article of all the different stupid fucking ways to say Chevy Chase.
That's really interesting.
gonna say
I don't think that's actually really all that interesting.
What?
Spoken like a true.
I mean, like,
Your hair looks so stupid right now.
oh, does
so
it?
stupid.
Is it?
It
Is
does.
it part?
And
Am
the
I
light
missing my
is
part?
shining on it and it looks dumb. And I don't even care about
Big
it.
stupid dumb head.
I think it's really uninteresting.
No.
Yes.
The spring. Okay. Yeah, I got one for us.
Wow.
This is a really interesting
Go
one.
for it.
Get it?
The Springfield 3.
Springfield 3. What is
Yeah,
that? You're
what?
thinking of the West Memphis 3?
No, you. I'm not thinking about them.
Is there a 3 in every city?
These three females in 1992 in
There's a
Springfield,
movie?
in Springfield, Missouri, which is actually one of the cities that I kind of grew up in, and they went missing, obviously,
I'm looking at the Wikipedia page
of the Springfield 3.
so that you don't fuck this up.
Okay,
Better not get anything wrong.
Oh, you're fact checking me right now. I thought you were gonna start reading. Okay.
No, I'm not gonna read this.
I don't
Mitch
remember
has facts.
I don't remember their names, but they're very Missouri names. It's like Katie Joe or something. Katie Beth. Suzanne. There you go.
Stacy, and Cheryl.
Yeah, those are the
Wow.
3 most Missouri
Everybody
names.
from Missouri has those names.
Yeah.
And they're all S's. That's a conspiracy in itself.
There's another one that's like Katie
the triple
Joe
S conspiracy.
or something. Anyways, it was like they graduated high school. They go to a party.
Congrats.
They were checking in with their mom and like, hey, they were supposed to go to Branson.
Silver Dollar City.
Well,
That's probably what they were doing.
It was at night or whatever. They were supposed to go after the party.
Dollywood,
And they're
no,
like,
wait.
hey,
Dolly Parton show wasn't on back then, unfortunately. But they did have the Chinese acrobats.
I saw those when I was there.
Yeah.
We go to Branson every year. We're going to Branson this year for Christmas. So they went missing.
They haven't gotten missing yet.
Oh,
They wanted to go
they
to
went to the
Branson.
party.
They
were
ended
going
up-
to
they went
going
to
to
the
Silver
party.
Dollar City.
They didn't go to Branson. They ended up they were gonna come back home.
Okay.
When they came back
To
home,
Springfield.
they had family members that were staying at their house, so they decided not to stay there. They went and stayed at a friend's house instead.
They all 3 went to another friend's house.
Right.
They couldn't stay at any one of their own houses.
It was like after graduation, they all wanted to have like a sleepover together or whatever. You know how it is. Anyways, they go to another friend's house. They crash there or whatever. The next morning, they're trying to get a hold of them. Of course, they're missing. When they go in and check on them, apparently the whole place was just completely undisturbed.
Yep.
Like there was an open book still on the bed. There was like the purses were neatly aligned. The only thing that was out of place was the bulb or the globe that surrounds the bulb on the outside of the light was broken on the floor.
So far, he's actually been accurate.
So the first 2 people that showed up, they apparently kind of disturbed the crime scene there. And then the mom came over and looked at it, disturbed the crime scene there. When the cops came, finally, they ruled it as like they couldn't find any evidence on it. And the weird thing about it is like in the video that I watched, they made it sound like these girls just completely vanished and disappeared. But in 2007, and there were like a lot of witnesses too that said they saw them in the months after the disappearance, that they saw like. There was one that even said that they saw them in a gray van with a guy with a gun behind them yelling and cursing at them. Like they were stopped at a stoplight or something.
Because they probably cut them off.
And
they're probably inconsiderate drivers.
Probably. I mean, I would be if I were a kidnapper.
Yeah.
And things like that. They saw them like around town in this van. All these reports of that. And then, so in 2007, there was like a investigative journalist or something that kind of dug it back up and wanted to figure out what was going on. She got a bunch of reports that the bodies were underneath the parking garage of the hospital there.
How'd they end up there?
Well, I'm going to get to that. No, actually, I don't know how they got there, but I have some theories. Anyways, so they went and they took a big ground radar thing that, surveys the underneath. And they found 3 anomalies that were all suspiciously sized like a body.
What?
The hospital won't dig it up because they feel like there isn't evidence that supports it. And the parking garage was built a year after the girls went missing. But the thing to me is that there were reports that they were around town in the gray van, which tells me that they were kidnapped and held, not murdered right away. You could have kidnapped them for 6 months, 6 months, murdered them, and then buried them somewhere or not buried them somewhere.
Right.
Held onto their body, and then went and hid waited another 6 months, went and dug up the bodies or took them and moved them.
Because like a construction site, because you're gonna pour concrete on them.
Right.
Yeah.
And so their idea was, well, they went missing a year before we broke ground on it, so the excavators would have found it.
It's really strange
So
here
that's so
that
weird.
it's 2 of the friends and one of the moms that went missing. They weren't all 3 friends.
Oh, were they not?
Was it
Okay,
the
I'm
mom?
sorry.
Because I was
That
thinking,
makes sense.
because she was 47. I was going to bring that up.
Yeah.
I just thought she was that one woman that likes to hang out with the younger kids because she's hip.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
It's really strange.
Because she was a cosmetologist.
Yeah. But it's pretty obvious to me
That makes it. At first, I was like, "Oh, it's like sex trafficking," but now I'm just like, "Well, I don't
Where's
know.
that? Was that the mom?
Yeah, it says. And Streeter's mom, Cheryl Levitt, went missing.
One of the girls was she had like a boyfriend that was later charged with robbing graves for gold teeth.
Nice.
There's another guy.
1920s.
Yeah, right. There's another guy that was like arrested, and he claims that he knows what went on.
Yeah,
he won't release any information until his mom dies. And it's very clear to me that, I mean, I think what happened is they were followed. One of the girls had a stalker or some boyfriend or some problem. He probably was at the graduation party or some way involved and followed them home to kidnap them or do whatever. And the other two were just wrong place, wrong time.
Well, so I don't know, man.
And he probably too had a plan to get them out the door before he kidnaps them.
When you have something as mysterious as that, where nothing was undisturbed, the porch light being broken out could just be coincidental. You know, for all we know,
it could be, but that's a pretty big coincidence.
I understand that, but my thing is this:
like the glass was on the ground.
But why do that? You know what I mean? Like, why not just turn the light off?
I think in this, they're thinking like there was, maybe they got him lured out onto the porch, because this all happened at like 3 a.m. too,
right?
Which is the other thing. But they could have like lured them out on the porch somehow. Maybe like claim they were the cops, something to get their attention and outside.
Still doesn't explain why they would shatter the porch light.
So maybe
as they're being drug off, one of them hit it with their head, or they bumped into it or something.
They were both like 5'7". I don't think that would have been.
There was one guy that came forward and said that he knows that they're dead.
Yeah, it's the guy.
Yeah, that's the guy.
Prison.
Yeah, he's in prison because he's got in prison for murder in Florida or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah, you know, and I don't know when you hear about cases like that where it's so meticulous, right? So they obviously knew the guy, or else there would be. The crime scene would be more ransacked, right? And then a lot of times, that's the other piece, is that a lot of times when a person is planning to do something like this, they will typically try to make it look like a burglary.
Yeah.
Which is not the case here, right?
Picture this though. Okay, here's an idea. Let's say that the mom had a boyfriend that he wanted to kidnap her. They had problems or whatever. He wanted to get revenge, or they just got into a fight. He bangs on the front door at 3 a.m. Mom comes out front. What are you doing here? Blah, blah, blah. They get into a fight. This brings the other two women out.
They want to come see what the hubbub's about.
They want to see what's going on, right? He could knock them out. He could threaten them with a gun.
The only reason I disagree with that theory is that in crimes like this, the first people that become suspects are family members and loved ones and things like that, right? So that means that they already went through that possibility and found those individuals to not be related or connected.
Yeah.
You know, so whoever the boyfriend was or the whatever, this individual was someone, A, that they probably knew. They had to have known him in my opinion. 2, it was someone that is not around anymore.
Oh, there was no. There was the boy. I think the boyfriend that I was talking about, the suspect. His girlfriend at the time, covered for him, and then she came back later and said he was threatening her.
Yeah, his name was Robert Craig Cox.
Yeah,
Craig Cox.
Which is interesting that these bodies were buried under Cox Hospital.
Shut up.
Yep, Cox Hospital parking garage.
1992, Cox had been living in Springfield, and when interviewed then, he told investigators that he was with his girlfriend at church the morning after the women disappeared, which she corroborated. However, she later recanted her statement and said that Cox had asked her to say that. Cox also stated that he was at the home of his parents the night of the disappearance, and they confirmed that alibi. So there's that.
Wasn't there a whole church full of people that could say he was there and all?
Yeah. As well. Authorities were uncertain if Cox was involved in the case or if he was seeking recognition for the alleged murders by issuing false statements. Cox stated to authorities and journalists he would disclose what happened to the 3 women after his mother died.
He's the one that's in prison. Okay.
And so here's the thing. You have to be careful with those confessions like that, because did you ever watch the Making a Murderer? Right? Well, as of right now, supposedly there is a killer in prison that says that he actually killed the lady, not Avery Atkins or Stephen Avery,
I've seen some stuff about
So I
that,
feel
but
bad right
haven't
now
even-
because one, Avery Atkins is a buddy of mine that I work with, and two, he's also the kicker for LSU. So Stephen Avery is what was the guy's name, and Brandon Dassey. You know what's funny is after I go and listen to these episodes, a lot of times, it's only then that I realize how bad I got names wrong, and then I'm like, oh, that's not. I can't go correct myself.
Right.
But Brendan Dassey.
Oh
Brendan
my
Dassey.
gosh. So anyway,
Yeah. So anyway, supposedly a serial killer came forward and said, no, I killed that lady. But he's asking for a crap ton of money in exchange for his confession.
He probably wants a movie done about
Right.
it. Yeah.
So now that's what you have to run into. When you run into things like this and you see this guy, it's like, no. I know exactly where these bodies are, but I'm not going to say anything till after my mom dies. It's like,
They want a book deal.
yeah.
Yeah.
You know how much money you make off that stuff, dude?
That'd be awesome.
yeah. What do they have to lose? All
They're
they have
already in
is
prison.
time.
Yeah, they're and all they're going to do is get time put on their sentence. Not only that, they get to go up for a whole new trial. You know what trials bring? Trials give you the ability to leave the court. I mean, you get to leave to go to court. You
Oh,
get
you
to
get
get
attention.
outside.
Yeah.
When the West Memphis 3 were in prison, stuff like that, and they would take them back and forth to Little Rock from Pine Bluff, I think it was. They would stop at McDonald's, let them eat. You know, it's like one of the only times you get to get out and do stuff like that.
We have inmates that come in certain days at our clinic, and I mean,
They
there.
live for those days.
Yeah. I mean, they get to use a regular bathroom, and they get to walk around, see normal people, talk to people. I don't know. I
That's
would want to
real,
do
man.
that if
Absolutely.
I were inmate. I mean,
Especially if I knew that I probably would. I mean, he's already in jail for kidnapping and murder.
Yeah.
Like, he's not getting out.
yeah.
You
I
know?
mean, so like
Well,
I
yeah.
said, what do they have to lose? I mean, I
Nothing.
would probably do it too.
You see it all the time. But it is still strange.
It is it's a strange disappearance, but I don't think it's
The only
as
reason it's
strange as
strange is
everybody
because
makes
it's
it.
unsolved.
And there's no evidence really.
No,
That's
Lizzy, that's not the only reason it's strange.
Why?
Elizabeth.
It's strange because of the circumstances. There's Jimmy Hoffa. That thing has never been solved.
Yeah.
What is that, Jimmy Hoffa?
Jesus Christ. What kind of
He was
world?
a
Johnny, what are you
union-
doing?
Wasn't he the union leader?
Yeah, he
Yeah.
was supposedly
His
You've
mob
never heard
activity,
of Jimmy Hoffa?
mafia activity.
Is anybody else out there not heard of Jimmy Hoffa? Hit me up because I have never heard of this person.
It's a pretty big deal.
It's a huge deal.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Now Lizzie's embarrassed.
I'm not embarrassed.
She's like, I'm not embarrassed. You're embarrassed.
I'm not crying. You're crying. Leave me alone.
No, but Jimmy Hoffa was a union leader who supposedly was murdered by the mob, and they have never found his bodies. Body.
How long ago was this?
This was in the 60s.
And I'm supposed to know about
Yeah. Okay.
this?
Yeah, it was in like the 60s and 70s.
There's a
Richard
conspiracy that
Kuklinski
it's under the
supposedly.
baseball field.
There's is buried under Yankee Stadium. There's another one that says he's buried on the 50-yard line of the New York Giants Stadium. Someone said that he was put in a barrel of acid. Richard Kuklinski, the guy, the Iceman killer or whatever, who was the hitman for the mob, says that he killed him. Which that guy in itself is a pretty interesting character.
Yeah,
as well.
that is a pretty interesting. You know what I learned about in Chicago is that the water in that lake. What's the lake that's it? I'm not gonna do
In
it.
Chicago?
No, we're not gonna do it because we're gonna get into it.
The Great Lakes.
It's the Great Lakes, but I don't know what particular. There's a bunch of them that are right there. Anyways, like the salt content or something of the water decays things at a much higher rate, and that's why that's why they call it like the lake of bodies or whatever.
Lake Michigan?
Something like that. It has some kind of nickname because of that. There's all kinds of like rumors of people that have been thrown in there.
I don't know about that one.
Supposedly it's got like something that happens that like breaks down materials much faster.
Yeah, instead of 5,000 years, it's only 200.
I don't know.
True.
Why don't we all work together to
Well, this
figure
guy
out
says that
these-
he thinks he's found Jimmy Hoffa's body. Author believes he has found Jimmy Hoffa's burial site.
Isn't it convenient that he's an author?
Well, yeah, I mean, they're the only ones that do any sort of investigative
Ah,
journalism.
that's true, I guess. Can I have some headphone?
Hey,
Why you have to yell?
I'm like banging against the microphone
He believes he has located the burial site of Jimmy Hoffa 44 years after the Teamster boss disappeared in Metro Detroit. So I was wrong about where he was from. Said he spent the last year in New Jersey uncovering the last stop of Hoffa's journey, which he says is a 53-acre dump site in Jersey. It's the best lead I've seen on this case in 44 years.
It's because it's the only lead in the past 44 years, except for when Geraldo Rivera looked for it. Didn't he like? Wasn't there one where he claimed he found it? Geraldo Rivera found
I'm sure. Hoffa vanished from the parking lot of the Macus Red Fox restaurant in Bloomfield Township. 1975.
1975.
1975.
Lizzy's getting distracted. She just saw me cross my legs like a lady, and she's
I
been
didn't
thinking
know
about
Johnny wasn't wearing shoes.
She's thinking about
You didn't know he
the
was wearing
Epstein
shoes?
shower.
No.
She loves my feet.
She wants you to do 8 laps around the Epstein shower.
Yeah. Keep running for me, boy. That's so. There was a video tour. Somebody like went and
But how can you...
broke onto the island and.
He revealed that Hoffa's body was buried at the dump and that Sal Brugiglio, another associate, blah, 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 Italian name, mobster. This went on for... Yeah, but how do you... It's been 44 years. The body's gone. Like, even if it was there, it's gone.
This is why we should probably think out our topics and choose them more
I think we're doing a fantastic
because
job.
we've gone over 8 different ideas.
Well, Mitch is the only one carrying the topic conversation.
That's true.
Yeah, well, you guys aren't.
You're doing a good
No,
job,
I'm
Mitch.
not.
Hey, I had the Springfield
admit
3. I went through the Springfield 3. I watched a whole video on that.
I'm uninterested. You asked your mom about it too.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
'cause-
Angie?
Yeah.
Good old Angie.
That's true.
They were in town. What was it? Thursday.
Should have had her on the podcast.
Thursday. Yeah.
I desperately want Angie to be on the podcast.
I don't.
Oh my god! Can you imagine? Oh, I can't imagine. That'd be great.
No.
Johnny's the only one that doesn't want.
The
We would get a lot of controversy. I'm sure we'd get a lot of listeners.
oh yeah. We got she. I don't want to go into it. We lived in Springfield in like 95, 96. In 92 we were still in Germany, I think. But so we went there whenever they were like murdered, but definitely probably at the peak of the.
I like how Johnny wants to make sure
Exactly.
everyone knows I wasn't there
Yeah.
when they were murdered.
I couldn't have possibly done it. 4-year-old me.
Have you ever seen The Omen? Have you ever seen Chucky?
Dude, 4-year-old me might have been
I'm just saying.
Chucky. I have kind of an irrational fear of Chucky. He really bothers me. It creeps me out. I had
It is irrational.
when I was a kid, I had a babysitter that let us watch it, and it really, really, really bothers me now.
There was a
Chucky?
yeah.
Oh.
Do you know what that is?
It's so stupid.
Do you know what
It
Chucky
is.
is?
But
I used to be so afraid of it when I was a kid.
Welcome
Yes.
to the mansplain episode. Lizzy, do you know what this is? We're just gonna
She didn't know who Jimmy Hoffa was.
attack you with explanations.
I'm sure
of
there are a
stuff.
bunch of people out there that don't know who that
As
is.
long as the people who were born in 2001.
I wasn't born in 2001.
I know, which is why this is surprising.
Wow. You guys are so great.
I didn't do anything. I stuck up for you.
No, you
It's
didn't.
true. He did.
Whatever.
It was just really not
What were
very
we talking
obvious.
about?
I don't remember.
Good.
We were dogging on you. Sorry.
What's new?
That's not
the
true.
mansplaining is why
That's
I
not
was sticking
true.
up for you. Anyways, Jimmy Hoffa died, and we can't find his body.
And we can't find his body.
You know what? I remember this. There was probably a time traveler at our seminar, but
Oh,
we
you
forgot
didn't
to
ask.
ask about it. So, story of my life.
Yep. Another missed
see,
opportunity.
Yeah, I can see future Johnny being like, "This is it. I'm gonna go back,
and I'm going to fix everything.
Yeah, and then I totally forgot to ask him, and he can't do anything.
Wait,
He
wait,
probably
wait.
did. He probably approached you and you just were so oblivious.
I was like,
did anybody try to give you
Don't
this?
touch me, white belt.
If you guys could go back in time, if you had the ability just once, where would you go? What would you do?
Like, are we talking about would we like change our own lives or just like go experience?
If you could go back in time to any day that you
Okay.
lived, what would it be?
How long am I gonna be there?
I don't know, Johnny.
Is it like a
Just
quantum
pick
leap
day.
situation where you go back just to fix one thing?
It's not.
Do you know what quantum leap is?
It's not. You get to be there for 5 minutes. That's it.
Oh, man.
And then you go
So-
back.
So you get to go like you're gonna be in front of yourself, and you're like, you have 5 minutes to listen to me.
No, like you go back as your 5-year-old self, or you go back as your 10-year-old self for
okay.
5 minutes.
Yeah.
To change something.
You don't
Yeah.
have to change it. Nothing's gonna change.
Oh, just
You
to live it?
to relive an
Oh,
experience.
to really
Oh, man. My
okay.
life has been full of tragedy.
I would go back and tell my dad not to leave me in a Walmart parking lot.
That's fair.
I'm just kidding. He never left me in a Walmart.
Did he ever come back?
No.
That's
why we never mention him on the podcast.
We never talk about his dad. He's just...
Okay. Anyways, I have a dad, guys. He's great. I'm sorry that anybody that doesn't.
If I could go back just to relive, I don't know. That's a tough one. Because, like, trying to think of, like, a moment in my life that was so good.
Okay, I've got one. I went to half of a semester of college, and I made the mistake of signing up for early morning classes. And I was up at like 6:30 a.m. on my way to class, and I'm like in my car, damn near asleep, and I hear kind of like a little bit of a screeching sound, and then I look over to my right, and this girl on a scooter nails the back of this truck.
Oh, man.
What?
And she doesn't hit it hard. She doesn't like hit it really hard. She hits it just hard enough that the back end comes up, and then she jumps off in time, lands on her feet, and the scooter falls over. She's totally okay, but incredibly embarrassed. And the guy jumps out of the car and he's like, "Oh my God, are you okay?"
And she just took off running.
And she's like picking up her scooter, like, "Yeah, I'm fine," you know,
Fine,
and like
wait.
sits back down on it and has to sit at the stoplight with me. And I'm like screaming, laughing. It was the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life. I couldn't have been in a better place at a better time.
But what caused her to hit the back of the vehicle?
She just didn't. She was like
Didn't
slowing
brake in
down. She
time.
just didn't brake in time, and
She was new to the scooter world.
nailed the back of this pickup.
Wow. I'm glad that that's the
Oh,
one
yeah.
time that you would go back.
That would be
Relive.
That's a pretty good one. I almost saw somebody get hit by a car one time. It was an old man. He was in a turning lane, and the people got into the turning lane, not seeing him, and they clipped him with their mirror and like spun him.
Nice.
Yeah, I
I've
don't
seen like a million car crashes. I
Yeah.
saw one the other
What?
day in my rearview mirror. I was driving.
You're causing a lot of problems for people.
No. I had driven away, but I saw it because I heard it in my rearview mirror, and I looked back, and someone had this was in Little Rock. They had turned and they had hit someone, and then they went into like an apartment complex's like where the driveway is, and then they went and like. I'm telling this really weird.
No, it's
But
okay.
they like ended up in front of the apartment complex, like on the grass. It was like really strange. Anyway,
I told you about
that was my most recent one.
when I was driving my mom's purple PT Cruiser to Little Rock,
Ugh,
and I was like
miss it.
on this
Party time.
the party time cruiser. I was on this side road that was like an access. It wasn't an access road. It was just a road that ran alongside the highway, and I didn't realize that it was 2 lanes. And I went to turn and didn't check the other lane, and this lady nailed the back end of my car, and or my mom's car, and it spun around like 3 times. Ended up in this guy's lawn, his front lawn, and he comes running out. He's like, "Hey man, you okay? You okay?" I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Everything good? Like, you healthy? Anything broken?" I was like, "No, everything's fine." He's like, "All right, man, I'm gonna get out here before cops show up," and then leaves. I was like, "Oh my God," it was awesome. But like. Dude, what a bro to check on me.
I know.
Like, "Hey, what's up, man? You doing okay?"
I can't catch no charges. I gotta get out of here.
And then bailed. Yep. Great. Checked on the other girl too, by the
So
way.
this is a video. Obviously the fans can't see it, but I'm going to show you guys, because you got to spend a little time in my home state of Louisiana, where you got to see all the big trucks and all the rednecks and all the stuff.
I've been there before to Louisiana.
Whatever.
Wow, that's a great video, Mitch.
Okay, so hold on. So ready?
Yeah.
Right. So that happened down the road from my mom's house.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's actually that's right there before you get to Interstate 20 in Dixie, Louisiana. And
He got
The guy
over
was-
the fence though.
he was running from the cops, and I don't think he expected to catch any air. I think like in his mind, he was like, I'm going to go in the ditch and I'm just going to go easily over this small little ditch here. And I'm going to keep on running.
And then a
he
banner-
just launched through the air.
When he was done, a banner popped up that said "Stunt jump completed." Yeah, he looked like a baseball field.
It did look like it's
Yeah.
not. That's he basically went right into the Sonic parking lot and then ordered a large cheese stick. So
A cheese stick,
Yeah.
large sized.
it's 8-piece for those of you guys who don't go to Sonic often.
So, Mitch, what is your one moment that you would go back in time for?
I don't know. Anyone that involves my mom, that'd be awesome.
No, you have to have a specific time.
They're all specific, so
Okay, bye.
yeah.
What about you?
Mine is easy. It's something that I wish I could go back to like every day.
When you met me?
No.
When you met Nate?
I got to meet you twice. Oh my god, yes. I forgot about that. Okay, that's
could you?
my backup. That's my alternate.
Mm-hmm.
No, mine is when I was really young. I just remember laying in the back of my grandpa's old pickup truck after we went fishing, and he would put some like cushions from like an outdoor chair seat in the back of the car, and I would just sit there. I have a picture of it. I can't believe someone got a picture of this, but I would just lay back there and I would look up at the trees, and it was just like the most elated that I like the most. I don't know, like I felt like I was flying.
Yeah.
And it was just like when everything
It's
when
like
you're
the
a
most
kid.
childhood moment.
Yeah, everything when you're a kid is just all your senses are so heightened, and it was just like I felt so like comfortable and safe and just free.
Yeah.
Do you ever think about the things that you did as a kid that you should not be alive?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Like I
Yeah.
think about those. So like,
I've told you about me being electrocuted, right?
no.
I like legit almost died.
That's not surprising.
Yeah, this is one of about 8 stories where I've almost died. But I, when I was like 3 or 4, when we lived in Germany, I figured out how to take apart my lamp in my bedroom, and my mom sent me to my room because I was in trouble.
I'll
Obviously,
show her.
Like yeah,
I'm gonna build a potato time machine.
yeah, and I unscrewed everything, disassembled my stuff, and they don't know if I stuck my finger or like an object in there.
Probably an
But
object.
I was standing on my bed, and I guess they stuck something in there, and they found me. Like if I was here, they found me. They heard a thud. I hit the wall and bounced back off about halfway
You should be dead.
through. They said the only reason I wasn't was because there was a circuit breaker. So whenever
It didn't
I
keep
interrupted
electrocuting you.
it stopped right before. Like it stopped on the right side of my chest just
Oh,
before
man.
it hit
Your heart.
my heart. Or,
Well,
like,
I wonder
closer
what
up on my
is it
shoulder, I
that
think.
blows people across the room.
Your muscles.
You actually like
It's you that
just,
does
you
it.
do it like like they tighten up so fast that you just jump across the room as hard as that's crazy.
Yeah, they've done studies about that.
I always wondered.
Johnny's looked this up before.
I would too.
I have scars like you can see on my hand. That's where electricity came out of my hand.
Oh wow.
Right here on my pinky, you can see it a little bit, and up here,
When I was around 3 or
I
4,
blew off all the tips of my fingers.
my it was the fingernail scissors, not clippers, but they're like a tiny fingernail. They're like tiny scissors
Yeah,
for like fingernails and stuff like that. And I
They
stuck
still
those.
have those, by the way.
Yeah. I didn't think they had gone extinct.
those bother me.
Yeah, they don't make any sense.
when people cut their fingernails with scissors, I want to throw up.
Yeah, it doesn't make any like you're gonna fuck something up.
Oh,
But,
it gives me cringes.
I do it all the
thinking
time.
About, oh no,
I stuck
don't
those
ever wanna see it.
into a socket once when I was like 3,
Yeah,
and I remember it, and it like blew a spark that hit me in the. I was in my underwear, sitting on the hardwood floor, and like over by the and I stuck in it, blew a spark into my thigh and burned me. And I remember like I didn't want to get in trouble, obviously, so I got up calmly. I walked back in the bathroom. I put them back in the cabinet,
Yeah.
closed it, and I went down and started watching TV. And I was like, oh, nobody's gonna find out.
I had another time. We had this like backwooded. Didn't obviously almost die, but knocked myself unconscious. We had this like backwooded area, and I was way up in this tree. Me and my friend were both up on this big branch, and there was these vines. I was talking about this today. Between Missouri and Arkansas is a very different environment, like wilderness kind of place. Like we had a lot of like these wood kind of vines that would go through us that we don't have in Arkansas, that I don't see.
No, it's the woodest vininess.
I don't know. I
Woodiest
don't
vinous.
remember that in
That's
Missouri.
because you didn't go in the
You obviously
woods.
didn't go
Yes,
into the
I
Amazon.
did.
You don't remember just like like brown vines?
I do.
Being throughout the
We have them in Louisiana
Brown
too.
vines.
Mhm, like
No.
they're maybe like that big.
They're like,
not.
what was the name of that tree? We called them water trees,
Yeah.
but obviously that can't really be the name of them.
Anyways, I decided that I was gonna take one of those down to the ground, and I did. But
The rest of the tree comes with it a lot of times.
I took the whole vine with me down and bounced the back of my head off of the ground. And I remember my friend being at the bottom with me, but I don't remember how he got down. And then, I did that. And there's another time that I knocked myself unconscious when I was a kid.
I was
don't
one
remember now.
I was playing with my neighbor. I was probably 9, 10. I based all my ages and memories off of the houses that we lived in because my dad, we moved a lot when I was a
Yeah,
kid.
We did too.
And so like I know what birthdays I had depending on where the house was. So I knew
Yeah.
around the age that it was. Well,
You had birthdays?
we even celebrated them. And my brother was fighting with the neighbor. Like they were yelling at each other. And I was so it was like Lizzy and then my brother and then me. Like I'm on the other side of them under this little treehouse and they're fighting. And somehow my brother was able to determine in a split second that this kid was going to throw a giant boulder at his head. So he ducked and it
got
hit
you?
me.
Yeah.
Like I was like poking a grasshopper with a stick. Like I was not involved in any way, shape, or form with their argument, but I got knocked out. Like it made no sense. I was just like, what the fuck?
I had a similar thing where my friend was just like throwing rocks and threw one off course and hit me in the back of the head.
Dude,
It
that
didn't knock me
curveball.
out, but I was like, ah!
Dude. Lawn darts. My sister got hit in the nose with a lawn dart before. Like, you ever play those games where, like, it was the dumbest game. If you really think about it, it was
throw it
super
up
fucking
the-
stupid.
Yeah, roulette. Or
Yeah,
not roulette.
no,
yeah.
it's just you just throw them up in the air.
Yeah,
and then they land.
and you have to, whoever's bravest stays in the
What?
middle.
No, we didn't even do it that way. Like, thank God.
Oh,
No, Jesus Christ.
we shot arrows.
Yeah, like
up in the air.
I've heard stories of people like you.
Yeah, they were like dull. They weren't sharp.
If they ever hit you,
Yeah, they would have been
the story
shaded.
would have been a different story.
We shot them into trees.
Yeah. No, it's like I don't remember how you played lawn darts itself. Like you're supposed to put like a target out, and then you would like chunk them up, and then they would like come down, and whoever got closest to the target won.
Mm-hmm.
But as kids, we didn't play rules. We just wanted to throw them up in the air, and then they would stab into the ground.
Yeah.
Well, you would hold them by the fin and like fling them.
Yeah.
Well, my sister was standing in front of somebody, and they went to fling it up, but it released too soon and went right into her face. And then the dart missed, but like the metal piece on the dart like hit her nose and just shattered it. You know?
No.
She was like, I don't know, 5, 6 years old.
Oh yeah, she's fine now.
She's fine.
Yeah.
You can't even tell, really.
Wow.
Yeah.
The
It whistles when she sneezes, but
we had this giant dogwood in our backyard, and their dogwoods are like perfect for climbing, and they have like that white chalky kind of substance, you know. But I would scoop my trampoline right up underneath the
and then
tree.
jump onto it.
I would get to the freaking top of that thing and jump out, and I don't know how. Like
All
I
it
know my
takes-
parents were watching me through the back window.
Easily. They're like, well, he's
What
gonna
were they
figure it out.
thinking? Yeah, he's just exploring life. See if
Yeah.
he can fly.
I don't know what your parents were thinking.
I
That's a
don't-
good question.
I don't know either, because they let me.
And you're an only child. It's
They
not like
didn't-
they had a second option.
I don't think
They're
they
like, this could be the time we get to go to the Grand Canyon by ourselves.
Yeah, I think mostly they just didn't really
They're
have an
placing
option.
bets.
They're playing,
Yeah, they probably were looking at me up in the tree. Like, well, at least he's not like shooting arrows again at himself.
Could be worse.
Yeah.
I did a backflip on a trampoline one time and landed on my head and knocked the wind out of me.
Yeah.
And I couldn't tell. I tried to tell the people around me that I couldn't breathe, and they were laughing at me because I was apparently making a noise, which is also called wheezing. And like they were laughing, and for some reason in my head I was like, well, since I can't breathe, if I drink water, it'll open my lungs up. And so I ran over to the water hose and just started drinking water, and it worked. But it wasn't that it worked; it was that I had finally caught my breath. You know.
Yeah.
And so, like, for a long time, my brother did it. And, like, he's like, and so I ran and got the water hose. And I was like,
Aw.
here, drink out of this. It'll fix it.
I've only gotten the air knocked out of me one time, and I was walking by someone swinging,
Uh-huh.
and I didn't realize that they were coming towards me, and this was like a 6th grader, and I was like 2nd grade or first. I was in 1st grade.
It's a common accident on playgrounds.
And I was like, oh, and I didn't know what it was, and I had never like had that happen to me before, and I was like, you're trying to talk and nobody knows what you're saying, and you're like, I'm dying.
Yeah, I'm trying to tell you I can't breathe.
Yeah.
Lizzy she went, as soon as that happened, it was such a near-death experience that she like immediately went to an attorney and got like a living will, a power of attorney. She's like, I almost died.
Yeah. I'm in the 1st grade.
My affairs are not in order.
There was a you reminded me from Mitch's story when Daniel and I first became friends. I almost drowned him. Drowned. We were in Brazil, and the week that we were in Brazil, they had the highest waves that they'd had in the past 50 years.
Oh, geez.
So people were like flocking to the beach to
surf,
and they were like, we watched Coast Guard pick up somebody out that got swept out into the ocean.
Geez.
They got picked up, and like honestly, we should not have been playing around in those waves.
No, they usually have red flags that come up and tell you not to.
Yeah. Well, this is Brazil. Nobody gives a shit.
Yeah, they didn't. Obviously, they don't have a system in place.
We could stand. When the water comes back in, and like creates that wave, we could stand where our legs were dry, and then the wave would come up over our head.
Oh wow!
And like crash, and so it was insane. Anyways, we were burying Daniel in the sand, and we thought we were like far enough away from the water, and we get him all the way up to where like he's literally neck, like we're almost done. And this rogue wave comes up and completely engulfs Daniel.
Oh my God.
I mean, like he's probably like 3 feet underwater in seconds. And so our reaction, me and another guy that are burying him.
So you guys just ran.
Yeah, close. The guy across from me, Tony, we were both like, oh my God, pick him up, get him out of there. I was like a half a second late on that reaction. So Tony picks him up and starts to pull him out. But whenever I go to do it, I like fall into him. And so as soon as his head comes up out of the water, I just shove him back underwater.
Get back under there.
So he comes up, goes back underwater. And we finally got him out. And like these people were staring at us like, what the fuck are these idiots doing? Stupid white people, get out of here.
Americans.
Yeah, I almost drowned my best friend.
That's really scary.
Yeah.
Poor Daniel.
He made it out
That was
all right.
pretty funny.
He made it out okay.
Yeah.
And from what I hear, he's doing just fine.
Yeah. He's still supporting me, so I'm happy.
Yeah.
My sugar daddy. We got housekeeping to do too. We released some stuff on Patreon that you guys need to go check out. And we've been having people like our full name. You need to use our Christian name. The Rough. Oh, speaking of Christian, I don't hate Christians, everybody.
Oh yeah, my
Johnny
buddy
hates
Dave.
Christians.
My buddy Dave brought that up. So my buddy Dave is he's a fan of the podcast. He's a purple belt. He should probably be a high level brown belt. Arkansas State wrestler, like really, really good grappler. And we've been friends for, Jesus Christ, 10 years. And, but you know, he's a man of faith for sure. And that's why I thought it was funny, because he was like, we got to figure out what Johnny's problem is with Christians.
Yeah.
But he put like LOL, but I know at the same time, he's kind of like, no, seriously, like what's his problem with Christians?
I don't have any, I truly don't have any problem with Christians. The only problem that I have with anybody, and like, I try to live my life by this, is if you do on yourself, and I live by that.
Wait, if you do on yourself?
I'm just kidding. I had to drop that in there. Tyler the Creator quote. Sorry.
Oh.
Anyways, no, I don't have it. Like, honestly, what I try to live by is like, I don't have any problem with anybody until what you're doing prevents somebody else from doing what they want to do. I think everybody should do what they want to do. If you want to be a Christian, if you want to be whatever, you can do it, as long as you're not doing something that prevents other people from doing what they want to do.
Right.
And it happens in all religions, but Christianity happens to be the most popular in the area. And the tactics employed in order to get to promote those things, I disagree with a lot.
You mean like an entire
Tactics.
Christian college buying every liquor license in a town
Yeah.
to prevent businesses from being able to make money off of selling alcohol.
Yes.
Okay.
Things like that.
Yep. So I'm very glad that that particular area passed a new law that said if you own a liquor license, you have to sell liquor.
Yeah.
Because that city, and you know what I'm talking about, right? So
I don't think so.
So Henderson is a Christian university.
Yeah.
And it is located, I forget what town is it in?
Cersei.
So Henderson, I think you might be close.
That's Harding.
To being right. Harding, yeah.
Harding.
I might be thinking of Harding as well.
Okay, sorry.
It's either, and if the reality is I don't go to either one of the colleges. So if I'm wrong about the details, not my problem.
Fuck you. This is in your podcast.
Yeah. So I know it is one of those colleges. But what they were doing for a very long time is they were buying up all of the liquor licenses that were offered to that city so that nobody could sell alcohol in the city.
Yeah.
Right. And you had restaurants, you had convenience stores, whatever. They had all these different places that wanted to serve alcohol in their establishments, and they had every right to do so, but couldn't because you only get so many liquor licenses,
Yeah.
And luckily, the city council passed a law that said that you can no longer, well, that doesn't look obvious at all. You can no longer, you can no longer sell. Which one was it? Did you look it up? Or is it something unrelated?
It's unrelated.
Oh, okay.
She's just sending me memes right now. I'm in the middle of work.
We're
Bob.
working right now.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm okay. I'm sorry. I didn't know that Mitch talking was working. Okay.
We get paid for this. Not much.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
I bought a car.
Oh, I've never gotten anything.
Things are different now.
You're still a guest on this.
I'm not a fucking guest. I live here.
That's true. Lizzie's like, I fucking live here. And she's not wrong. But they were anyway. So they passed a law that said you cannot own a liquor license unless you are serving alcohol. Yeah. So they did away with that. But that's an example of kind of what you're talking about, where somebody takes their ideologies and then puts it onto a mass of people that are unrelated to that ideology, yet they are suffering from your ideology. And that's an extreme ideology. And I'm the same way that you are. I have no issue. I'm not Christian per se, right? But I do believe in God. And the reason I say I'm not Christian is because Christian is very associated with the Christ figure and all that. Like Christianity is a very specific sect of religion. Right.
Yeah.
So,
I'm atheist, completely atheist.
Yeah. And that's fine,
I mean, like I said, I think that if I'm, a person who doesn't believe that there's a God or whatever, that's just my belief. But if I don't believe that, then what difference does it make to me? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You're just trying to figure out your life. You're just doing what you think is best. I think it makes good people good people gooder and bad people badder. It's gonna highlight those character flaws or character good things about you. So
I guess it just depends on which sect you belong to, because there's it does. In certain books, it talks about witnessing to people and converting and doing things. Right? And then,
part of the deal. I don't want to use my verbiage would be the scam, but I don't want. I mean, that's not what I'm trying to portray. But the idea behind the Great Commission is that you need to go preach unto the world. You need to go make followers.
Right.
That's kind of it's that design perpetuates the kind of thinking of, well, we need to force people to God, or we need to figure out ways that people will see God by making our state book the Holy Bible.
The funniest thing
making
is
sure that people can't drink.
The same thing.
Things.
People and the same people that say that they're not doing that, but they actually are, and they don't realize it. And I think until you get outside of that paradigm, you don't see yourself, because that's how I was for a long time. But I think the biggest problem that most people have with any religion or any idea that's not their own is when it's being forced upon them.
Right.
Like, for example, at work, there's no other religion other than one particular religion that people that belong to this religion that will come in and they'll ask you where you go to church, or do you believe in this, or do you believe in that? And like for me, like I feel like it's very inappropriate because I think your religious affiliation is a very personal decision, and
I
I
would agree.
don't think that you should, especially come into somebody's work and start asking them those questions. It's just unprofessional. And I only see that out of one religion. There's no other like sect or anything that comes in and feels like it's necessary to ask somebody that. And I
Right.
think that people, no matter what religion you are, just be respectful of other people, and that will go a long way.
For the record, I don't want Dave to think that we're like, this conversation is not about Dave.
This,
No.
yeah, this
Yeah,
is
this
an
is
open
just something that just
conversation
kinda became
about
over.
religion.
Yeah.
that you brought up. Well, speaking of,
Because he's never forced his beliefs on anyone. He just lives his life, you know?
yeah, and I'm not like, yeah, I just wanted to make sure that people didn't think that I was
Bashing.
bashing people, and I am. I will bash everybody equally.
Yeah, equally.
though. I think that most atheists are fucking assholes.
Mm-hmm.
They think that they know everything, and the honest truth is I don't. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I can't tell you. You know, I don't believe that God exists, but ultimately, I don't fucking
Well, here's
know.
the thing.
You know?
Nobody knows.
Right,
And
like-
the first person to say that they do know, I'm immediately like, okay, I don't trust this
Right?
person.
Yeah. Like I can't. Who's to say?
Like the best thing for you to do is just have humility and be like, hey, I don't really know, but this is what I think.
Yeah. This is the best way I figured it out, so this is what I'm gonna go with. Right?
You know, and
the
it's-
world according to Johnny. So
The other piece of it is that there's been so many false alarms, right?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I've got friends that are Mormons, but you have to at least admit in a little bit.
dude, they're doing something right because they come out with like the best kids ever.
They have very I almost said well trained. They have very well behaved children. They themselves are extremely respectful people. I have a close friend of mine in the military. Well, I've got several friends that are in the military that are Mormons, and they're literally, for a religion that in itself to me doesn't make a lot of sense. I'm not judging it. I'm saying that from a place of ignorance, like it doesn't make a lot of sense to me. But one thing that they are doing right is the instilling of values.
Yeah.
You know-
oh, they're great. And family values, especially.
Big time, you know. So I've known a lot of Mormons that have gone and done their mission trips, right? So they do their missions. The church saves money for them their entire lives until they get to a certain age, and then they have to go do their missions, whether it's in Russia. Like when I was a recruiter, we had two guys that were in the town that I was recruiting in, and they would stop by the office all the time just because they wanted someone to talk to. And these guys so I asked them, I was like, what do you do in a day? Like, what is your day? Because I told them, I was like, I'm not going to be a Mormon, but I will talk to you out of education purposes. And they were like, yeah, man, you know, we wake up about 6 o'clock in the morning every morning, make breakfast. We read the Bible. We read the Book of Mormon. You know, they do Bible study, and then that for an hour. And then from like 7 until basically 5 o'clock in the afternoon, they go to every neighborhood, every house, and they knock on the door and they try to talk to people about their religion. They are doing what the Bible tells Christians that they're supposed to do,
Yeah.
but don't do, right? So that's kind of one of the things. Again, I'm not bashing the Christian faith or anything like that. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that Christianity will quickly say, those guys are weirdos. They're not going to heaven because this is the only way to heaven. And I understand that our book tells us that we're supposed to do the same thing that they're doing, but we're not going to do it. But they're crazy for doing it. Like that.
Yeah.
That's where I kind of start to get upset when it comes to like these religious talks. Is like I've watched Mormons do the work and do the deed, and they are doing what they are supposed to do per their book. But you don't see a lot of, you know, and then you'll go, what about the people that do the mission trips? It's not a popular thing within the Christian, you know, if you look at how many Christians exist on the planet versus how many spend 6 to 8 months in a third world country doing mission
there's
trips,
not many.
it's very disproportional, right?
Well, you want to talk about living your faith. I mean, you see that a lot in Islam. I mean,
Yes.
their
Yeah.
faith is
Absolutely.
their life. I mean, it's their
100%.
culture. There's no separation.
Nope.
And I think that's the piece that you're seeing with Mormonism is they're living it every day.
Yes.
But how much of that can be perceived as like forced though through
Well, if it's your culture and that's what your society does, it's not necessarily like
that's true. We're a culture that's built on freedom.
right.
Like our
right.
ideas
So
are
that's all
are
they
freedom.
know.
Yeah.
I mean, that's their life.
And if they
And for a lot of people, it works for them. I mean, look at their culture, look at the respect, look at the way that they live their lives. I know a lot of people probably that are listening to this don't know a lot about Islam or the Muslim culture, but it's very different in a lot of ways. And there's good and bad to every
everything.
culture.
Yeah.
Well, there's extremism in cultures, right? So let's not forget the Haley's Comet cult. Let's not forget Charles Manson. Let's not forget
The lizard people.
The lizard people.
Oh, I love that one.
Let's not forget one of the most famous ones of all time, the guy who killed everybody in the jungle, Jim Jones.
Oh,
Jim
Jim
Jones.
Jones.
Yeah, let's not forget
Yeah.
Jim Jones, right? So my point, I mean, there's that one, and then when I was stationed in Abilene, Texas, in a town right outside that called Buffalo Gap, there was the House of Yahweh cult, right?
Yeah.
Again, another situation like that. So it's funny to me that people will say all the things that they'll say about extremism in other religions like Islam.
Well, it's not Islam, it's ISIS. There's a differentiation between the two.
So there is a differentiation between the two in the sense that we know that there's a difference. ISIS doesn't see the difference. Does that make sense? Right.
Well, people don't see the difference between ISIS and being a Muslim.
Correct.
But I
They
think what he's
associate
saying is
them-
that
What I'm saying is
ISIS
that
believes
those-
that they're truly
Yeah.
the
Right.
yeah.
That's my point.
But
right?
I just want for people to, because when people hear
Yeah, I
Islam, they
understand
think
what you're
ISIS.
Of course
it's-
they do, because
it's like
that's what-
Christianity, Westboro Baptist. Well,
but
they're
that's
two
also
separate.
what ISIS wants you to think.
Yes.
is when you
Right.
hear
That's their
Islam,
mission, right?
you
So
Yeah.
ISIS.
when we're deployed, we don't call them ISIS. We call them Daesh.
Right.
That's the name that we refer to them as. And we do that because one of the reasons we do that is because that's what the local populace calls them, because they don't want there to be any correlation between Islam and ISIS, right? Because ISIS stands for the Islamic State of Syria, et cetera, Iraq, and all that good stuff. But yeah, so that's why we call them Daesh. That's what the locals call them. So that's what we call them. We do not refer to them. ISIS is a Western name.
Right.
Really great metal band is what it is.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure that's ISIS. So
Dude, I think that it's ISIS. I'm almost for sure.
I haven't listened to them since 2006.
Yeah, you want to talk about feeling weird, like walk through an airport listening to them. Went on like a big ISIS kick when I was coming back from Brazil this last time.
I like to pretend that you're still talking about the extremist group.
Yeah. I was listening to
Went
their
on that
propaganda
ISIS
the whole
kick.
time.
It's not a real big ISIS kick.
Yeah.
It's not so bad if you give them a chance.
Okay, so here's divine intervention. The day that he made that comment on our YouTube, why does Johnny hate Christians? My youth pastor's son, that I haven't seen since he was 6 years old, came in and signed up at the gym.
Isn't that strange?
He came from this was it was a lot. Okay, I was in Northwest Arkansas, and so this is 3 hours away from us, and he just walked in the gym, and he remembered me. Last time I saw him, he was like 6 years old. And he goes, "Hey, did you used to have big old gauges in your ear?" I was like, "Yeah." He goes, "You remember RCC?" And I was like, "Holy shit, you're my youth pastor's son."
That's crazy.
Yeah. And he came in, signed up. He wants to try to fight MMA.
That's cool.
And I said, "Pay your bill. That's all you have to do."
All you have to do. That's all you have to do.
Literally, if you want to be an MMA fighter, get a job and pay your bill. That's it.
We had a discussion with Joey over the weekend about that.
Let me tell you about,
ahead.
because one of my proudest things that whenever I was coming up as an MMA fighter, my coach would use me as an example to those people that came in and were like, "I want to sign up and I don't have the money and you can I'm off the mats and blah, 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 blah." He was always like, "Look at Johnny, like what he did. He came in, moved in from California, came in, tried out class, and he was like, this is what I want to do." He didn't have a car, he didn't have a bank account, and he lived with his parents at
Still
the time.
doesn't have any of that stuff.
Didn't have a job.
He's got a Lizzy though.
Either. So I convinced my friend to let me use his bank account to sign up, and I would pay him, and I would ride with him there. Eventually I got a car and a bank account and got my own stuff, but I was 100% that's what I wanted to do, and I knew that's what I wanted to do, and so I made it happen. You know, and his point was like, dude, if it's important enough to you, you'll make it happen. Pay your bill. That's all you have to do. I'll do the rest.
I see it at we see it at Westside as well. You know, and I don't want to speak for Matt and Roley and and say that I know more than I really know, but we see it too. And everybody who comes through, we field messages from potential customers. We've had guys that have sent instant messengers to the Facebook page and stuff like that have been like, I want to be a UFC fighter. I want to fight MMA. What do I have to do that? And they're like, well,
Train.
yeah. Like, and like, it's weird because they get this idea that like,
Did you shave your hair?
no,
Oh, okay. Sorry.
but they're all the same for the most part.
Yeah.
You know, like, so you have like you and I'll use TJ Brown and Bryce Mitchell as another example. Like some of the hardest working guys in the game, in the sport, you know, a lot of people don't realize that TJ Brown teaches like 5 classes a day, like Monday through Friday. And then also trains himself strength and conditioning, does off-duty strength and conditioning, you know, outside of his normal strength and conditioning, does he does all of his own training with all the coaches, plus teaches all those classes to include wrestling on Sundays. The guy never takes a day off.
Yeah.
Right. And so, and same with Bryce Mitchell. And I'm sure you were the same way. So when people ask questions like, I think I want to be in it, or people make the statements of, I'm going to fight MMA. Just for 2 weeks.
If you're asking that question,
right,
then you're already going. You're already screwing up.
Go shadow TJ or Bryce for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
If you think you can do that, then go after it.
Yeah.
But if you find one excuse to take a day off in those 2 weeks, just save your money.
Bobby Lee, I really like his podcast, the Tiger Belly podcast, and I was listening to him talk about whenever he got started in comedy, and I can really relate to it because he was saying that after his first show, probably a big failure or whatever, that's how it usually goes, but when he was going into it, is like, it was never like, I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna be a star. It was, I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna do it fucking 10,000 times. I'm gonna do it over and over and over again, and we'll see where it goes. And that's always kind of been where my head has been at with training and MMA and stuff. It's like, you're not doing it because you're like, I'm gonna be a superstar. This is it. And there's no, that there's no secret formula. There is no secret formula to any of it. Go and train. That's it.
It's a sport you really have to love because you have to sacrifice so much and get so little.
And it's a bitch of a sport.
It is.
Like when I met Jonny, when we first met, Jonny literally didn't have a bed to sleep on, and he was taking a shower in a mop bucket.
Yeah. That have I shown you the? You haven't seen
This
the
is
mop
part
bucket
of the
in
reason
bag.
why we couldn't take. Because I would have no place to like go when I saw him. He also didn't have a car. He had sold everything he had, and he was living in the back of a gym. And that's how much like passion, and that's how much you have to give up for the sport.
Not including the part where like you guys had sex in the back of the gym.
No, she never
We
came to
actually
see me.
did.
No, I know Lizzy well enough to believe that that's the truth.
Yeah,
so.
she was classy. She would, no, there's a mop sink in the back of the gym that I had to stand in to take and hold the hose over my head to take showers.
So if
sometimes.
you're willing to give up all of these luxury items, like a shower
year
and a
half,
bed,
year
And now
half of
look, you've got
Go
a
for it.
successful gym, a podcast.
$250 in the pocket.
$250.
Woo,
A 2003 Tundra.
yeah, big time. No, I mean like
Well, hey, when I met Jonny, he was driving his mom's PT Cruiser, the Party Time, Tony
Yeah,
Braxton.
of course.
The old
Shout
Angie
out.
Cruiser.
So
That was
this is
the-
an upgrade.
it had a tribal butterfly on the back window.
Oh
That's
my
awesome.
God.
Just to match her tattoo.
Yeah.
Yes. It's so like classic Angie. Love it.
Oh, classic.
But yeah, if you have to ask the question, what do I need to do to be an MMA fighter, then you're not the person to be an MMA fighter.
Agreed. And there was a time where I thought that I never thought I was ever going to be a world champion in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I never did because I knew the realistic expectations that I had for myself and my ability to train as much as necessary to do so. But there was a time going into brown belt where I thought I could at least win the Masters Division World Championships. You know, like
I think you can.
I don't know that I can now.
Why not? Not like right now, but I mean,
Yeah.
like, I think that you can.
I maybe.
Yeah, I mean, like, what's stopping you from taking the next year and just training your ass off? and doing it?
That's if I can get my body healthy. I've considered that, like, just take a run at it. You know,
If I can not have a neck injury for more than 3 months.
that's right. You know, like I'm starting to have some lower back issues now.
Wait, here's my question for you, Mitch.
Mm-hmm.
How do you have 6,000 kids and have the time to train?
Yeah.
And have your job that you do?
Mhm.
I don't understand.
What are you asking me?
How does it work?
Huh?
How does it work?
How does what work? What part? I didn't understand the question.
Really?
What did you ask me?
So you have like you have 6,000 kids, right?
Yep, that's true.
And you have the job that you have,
That's
which
correct.
requires you to be gone a lot.
Mhm.
How do you have the time to train?
Because there's 24 hours in a day.
Wait, I don't know. What's the question?
I make time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But like we
you
have
really
no
do.
kids, and like I feel like we're always like pressed for time and stuff.
Yeah. I train like 5 times a week.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Plus I work.
He also
Two jobs.
goes
But wait.
at like 6 a.m.
I also go. Yeah. I make sacrifices for myself.
But
So
your wife, does she not need
I don't have a
help with
wife.
the kids or whatever? Does she have like family? Or...
Mhm.
Okay.
but she doesn't need any. I mean, she
Oh.
does an awesome job. Like she's really, really awesome at what she does.
Because I can
And
only
so-
imagine having one kid, and I don't think I could do it.
Well,
all.
so the thing is this, and this is not taking anything away from her. Like I'm not trying to simplify what she does. Monday through Friday during the day, she just has our 2-year-old, and then she babysits 2 other kids.
What? She
Right.
takes on more children?
hmm She's really good at it. So
Oh my god.
this
This lady deserves a medal.
I deserve a medal.
No.
And
you don't.
so
I want medals.
and the other kids are at school, and then they get home about 4:00. I only teach Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Friday nights.
So you teach also?
Yes.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Well, when I train before my classes, and so like Tuesdays and Thursdays, I'll train for an hour before I teach. Fridays, I typically will do the same thing. I'll train for about 30 minutes before I teach class. Tuesdays, Thursday mornings, I train with my students in the class. And then I'll go to at least one noon class if I'm able to during the week. So that's how I'm able to train. I don't train on Saturdays and Sundays. Like Saturdays and Sundays are for family. I know you're probably thinking, well, we have a podcast. How's that possible? This is the one thing that she allows me to do. And
Thank you.
right. It's not the one, she doesn't allow me to do it. It's not like I had to ask for permission. You
Well,
know?
like
she
you do-
supports it.
Yeah, you have
So-
to. There's things
That's like
that
a pretty awesome woman. Because you're a busy person, and then to take more time off for the podcast. I mean,
Yeah.
Congratulations to her.
we
She's
should. You know what we
pretty
should do? I want to have a podcast with Mitch's entire family in the room,
Oh my god.
There's a lot of us.
and let
You
the-
don't want that to
let
happen.
the kids just do whatever they want to do, and we're gonna have a podcast over it, and
No.
everybody's gonna see what Mitch's life is like.
You guys are going to get to hear a lot of...
I don't agree to that. I
don't agree to it either.
consent.
I used to be a preschool teacher, dude. You can't.
No,
you can't.
my
Well, I've
my
never been a preschool teacher.
older kids are great. It's my 2-year-old.
Awesome. Let's do it.
Have you not seen the stuff that I post on Instagram with her?
I've
Yeah,
seen,
I've seen
it.
it.
Yeah, there's like 5 videos of her literally just running her horse into the wall over and over again because she doesn't know how to turn it, and then she doesn't care what it is that she hits.
Have you ever met me?
That's true. That's true.
If you were to say draw or make a movie about Johnny's life, it would probably be
Just you running into stuff.
Those 5 videos, Johnny on something, just running into a wall over and over
Dude,
again.
she's a maniac. My 2-year-old's a maniac.
We would get along.
No, I get asked a lot, like how do I stuff everything I do into the time that I have? But
Yeah.
I have no idea. I just find a way to do it.
That time management, I guess.
I think it is. It's time
I think
management.
you have to at a certain point.
Yeah.
I mean, you just have to learn how to do that.
Yeah, I mean, because I'm home Mondays and Wednesday nights, and then Saturdays and Sundays, like I said, are for my family. So mathematically, if you think about it, my family gets more time than jiu-jitsu and work and stuff like that, you know? Because, I mean, I'm home. Saturdays are pretty much all family, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And then little things, you know, like I never tell my kids no. Like let me phrase that correctly. If my daughters, I read to my daughters every night
Mm-hmm.
because they ask me. If they don't ask me, then, you know, I'm like, okay, daddy can take a little break. But I never tell them no when they do that, right? Because it's just something, it was something I pulled, you know, and not to say that my dad wasn't a good dad. He was just super busy.
Yeah.
And so there would be times where like, Dad, you want to play catch? He was so tired. He wanted to sleep.
My dad was like
Right,
that too. Yeah.
you know?
He had to work a job. You know,
Right.
like
Yeah.
he
My
worked
dad
in the
was
oil fields.
Yes, exactly. So similar, right? So my dad worked 6 to 6. He worked 12-hour shifts, but he really worked way more than that. Most
Yeah.
likely with your dad too. And so it wasn't that he didn't want to. It was that he just physically was unable a lot of
Right.
times. But I still remember how it affected me, right? So I don't have animosity toward him now, but I still remember the feelings. And so I always told myself that when I became a dad, I don't care how tired I was, because it's like I always say, nobody regrets seeing the Grand Canyon. Nobody regrets not seeing the Grand Canyon while they're on their way to the Grand Canyon, right?
Yeah.
You always regret not seeing it when you've made it very clear that you will never be able to see it again.
Right.
And so I've kind of had that with as a father. It's the same thing. Like I never want my daughters to ever, or any of my son as well, to ever be able to look back and go, you know, I really wish my dad had done this. I wish we could have done, or me, like what if something happens to one of my kids? And then now I have to remember every time I told them, no, I'm too tired to read a 10-minute story to you. So it's, what is your time worth to you?
Yeah.
Right. If those 10 minutes are not worth your children, that's you. That's on you. But to me, that 10 minutes is nothing. How much time do you waste in a day?
A lot.
Honestly, right?
million hours.
Absolutely. Millions of hours,
About
right?
23 hours.
You know, at least. So that's the point, right? So like one of my biggest pet peeves is anytime somebody says, man, I would love to do this, or I would love to do that, I just don't have the time.
Mm-hmm.
You're a fucking liar.
That's why I always say, like,
you're a liar, you know?
like, why do I not go to the gym? I'm just like, well, I just don't, because I know
That's so
anything
much
else
better. That's such
is
a better.
gonna be an excuse.
Some of it,
Yeah.
if it's something personal, like if it's something that I know I should be doing, then, you know, like obviously it's, you know, and I've always been really honest with myself. Like I don't do this and I don't, you know, obviously, but a lot of times if somebody's asking me to do something, like, man, I just don't have the time. Because I'm like, I just don't want to,
Yeah.
you know.
And
The
I
other
get personal time too, you know, this is personal time for me.
Yeah.
You know, I get like an hour, 2 hours of this to, you know,
Therapy. You get
Yeah.
to vent your feelings. I almost started a second podcast the other day. Like I was looking at the person thinking about like, man, this would be a really good podcast. And then I was like, no, because then I would have to do double the work. And
Who was the other person?
Well, actually, my friend that you talked to, we have really good conversations.
Which friend?
The one that you did the report. your book
Oh,
report
yeah.
with,
Yeah, okay. I could see that'd be interesting.
Yeah, we have really good conversations about just pure MMA.
Mm-hmm.
We'll bring up stuff about that. Speaking of which, he has an idea that, but yeah, I'm sorry, I'm not gonna do it because it's too much.
He did want me to mention that on the podcast, and
Yeah.
I don't know whose side I'm on
About what? The
about
knife?
the knife fighting.
Dude, here's the. I still believe, if you pulled a knife on me, just as an average Joe, for me and Mitch, it'd be a different story. Because then it's like, even if me and Mitch are perfectly even on everything, now he's got a knife too,
Right.
And I don't, right? Like that's just an unfair matchup. But we'll say like your average Joe on the street pulls a knife on me. If you're in distance to stab me with that knife, I bet you I'm gonna kill you before I get killed. And like you might stab me and I might die, but you're gonna die first.
And you have to set the terms of what is considered winning, right?
Yeah.
Because you told me yesterday when we talked about this, it's not that you don't think that he can't kill you.
Mm-hmm.
It's that you're just going to kill him first.
Right. It takes a lot of stabs to kill somebody, unless you get it like just right in the perfect spot.
Correct.
And so,
And according to him, he thinks he could probably nail a couple of pertinent shots.
I'm sure that he does think that, but he's wrong. We saw my incredible knife techniques this weekend.
Yep.
Mitch couldn't stop it.
Nope,
He took one right to the
Right
chest.
to the sternum.
Wasn't even expecting it.
Didn't.
And who
In
would?
fact, I actually watched him do it. I was just like, what is this?
Yeah.
I was a curious kitten over there.
Yeah. I lure you into it.
Yeah, you did. And I was
That's
not
how
getting
you win
away.
a knife fight.
That would have been a perfect time for me to employ my knife defense.
Yeah.
Instead, I just watched you
What if you
shove it
like
into my
perfectly
sternum.
wrist lock? Next time we'll plan it out. We'll plan it out next time.
And I just get irate. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah. So
What?
far 1-0 for Johnny in knife fights.
Yeah.
Um,
So take that for what it's
Actually-
worth.
There was really no fight that Mitch didn't put up a fight. It was just you with a knife.
yeah.
Which says a lot about me and
I
right
guess
now.
I'm
You know,
1-1.
like,
I got stabbed in the stomach with a piece of glass one time. So
was I subconsciously just accepting death at that point? Was it
I
just
think
like,
you were. You're just like, well, here it is.
yeah.
I've lived a good one?
So there you go. I would win the. Yeah, I would absolutely win a knife fight. I think. I think you would too, Mitch. You can do it.
I wouldn't.
I think I
Not
could.
against me, obviously.
No, yeah,
but
of course
I
not.
think you will.
I think the issue would we wouldn't be trying to win. We would just, like, we would be bleeding out.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, are you dead yet?
We're both like stabbing the shit out of each other. Like, stop. We're both going to die.
Die already.
Yeah.
I have to win this.
I think
I'm
my
so
plan would
competitive.
be to let them stab me and like while they're stabbing me, like hold their hand and then put my hand like in their eyes.
No, that is a technique.
Yep.
Most of the
Then
damage
take
that.
the
It's
knife
done when you
out.
pulled it out. Well, you don't want to pull it out.
Yeah, pulling it out is what
Well, I
does most
was
of the
just
damage.
trying to be like,
But I like
cool.
where your head's at.
Yeah. I see you're an American rough and tumble style fighter.
Yeah, you could.
Gouge your eyes out.
If they stab you, you just stare them back in the eyes and you go,
And they'll explode.
don't you know that pain is in the mind?
Yeah, or just say I'm not
They just be
blinking.
like, what the fuck?
I'll just be like,
So that's a true story. My supervisor did that one time when he was younger, when he first joined the military.
Somebody stabbed him.
No. He was like in this really ghetto area of town in Jacksonville. And this dude walked up to him and was like, it was like in the middle of the night. They're in this apartment complex. I guess him and his buddy were trying to like pick up some chicks or whatever. And, this is like the late 80s, maybe early 90s.
Mm-hmm.
And And he said that this dude comes up to him, and is like, knocks on the window, you know, and he's in the passenger seat, and he rolls it like halfway down because he's like, you know, I know what this. I'm not trying to. I know your games. I know what you're trying to do. So he like rolls it halfway down, and the guy's like, "Hey man, you got a lighter?" And he's just like, "Yeah." So he hands him his lighter, you know, and the dude starts like walking off with it, and he's like, "Hey man, bring my lighter back here, dude." Like he's like pissed, you know, like, and the guy walks over and he's like, he rolls the window down, and he puts his hand out the window, like, "Give me my fucking lighter, dude." And the guy puts a cigarette out on his hand, and like my supervisor like didn't flinch, and he just looks at the guy, and he's like, "Don't you know that pain is in the mind?" And he's like, the dude just took off running. It's like, what the fuck? This crazy white guy. So, but he was like super drunk when he did it. So that's the only reason he didn't feel anything.
I've always hoped that like if somebody pulled a gun on me or something, I'd just stare at them. And I think that'd be really intimidating. And
It's like that movie Dinner for Schmucks where he plays like a possum. Have you seen that?
No.
Oh, it's one of the best movies ever. It has Steve Carell in it, and that's his defense to everything is to play possum. So he just pretends to be dead. This is his defense.
Speaking of movies, Lizzy knows she has a monologue that she can do from Austin Powers.
I'm not ready. Don't ask me to do that.
She can
It's
do
an entire monologue.
She can do the entire.
I think it's about time to wrap up the podcast.
She can do the entire Dr. Evil the Dr. Evil podcast, the Dr. Evil monologue where he
Like
talks about his
uncut?
father. Yeah,
Just goes after it.
yeah, she can do it. She can also do accents really well too.
What accents can you do?
What are you talking about?
What did you do
accents?
to do your SpongeBob?
Let me hear your SpongeBob.
One eternity later.
Oh,
Let me hear it.
that's not an accent, Bob.
It is an accent.
One eternity later.
eternity later.
That's pretty good,
right? Yeah,
That's pretty good. It sounds just like SpongeBob.
yeah. And see, what's the?
It's like the narrator's voice.
There's a couple other ones you do well.
What's another one you do?
Nacho Libre, you do pretty
Do
well.
Nacho Libre.
No, I don't do Nacho
Do
Libre.
Nacho Libre.
I only believe in science. That's not an accent. My favorite
Oh,
quote.
Borat. Borat's the one you do well.
Oh.
Yeah.
Which
So
one?
a bang bang is skeet skeet blank. Just a couple
Way to
of
go for the most controversial quote you could.
just a couple of pimps, no hoes.
No, so I'm gonna have her study she needs to memorize the Dr. Evil monologue. and
I would
come on
like
and do
to.
it.
For
I
the next,
I know it. I just don't want to. That's a lot.
For the next podcast,
We're waiting.
That's
That'll be the
that's gonna be
intro.
the intro.
Oh, that's good.
You're just like, we're not even gonna say anything. You're just gonna do it, and then as soon as it's done,
I don't.
It's gonna
There's
go
some,
right into
there's
it.
some pieces that are missing.
That's okay. That's why
Well,
you can look it up.
pick them up.
Memorize it.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna memorize.
I'm excited. Yeah. Subscribe to the Patreon if you want to hear Lizzy do her monologue of Dr. Evil.
Shoot us some DMs. You guys
Yeah.
remember? Did you ever have to remember?
She also raps too. You should
Oh,
hear
I
her
can
rap.
sing. I can
What?
rap like every Eminem song.
Yeah, she
Get
can.
out of town.
Eminem, go.
Yeah.
Do it.
No, I'm not gonna. What? I don't have.
Which
any
one's your favorite?
I can.
Mom, spaghetti.
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 I can rap all of Mockingbird like from the beginning to the end.
That's the hush little bit. Yeah. Can you do it? Like, can you do one of his better ones though? Like
No.
one of the people know.
No,
You know any like
that's
good
it.
songs?
That's the only option you have.
What about Little Purple Pill? You do that one.
No, I can't
good
do
one.
that.
Yeah, if you, that's what we're
Can you
gonna
do Dr.
We're gonna
Dre?
do rap
Oh yeah,
on
What about Easy E?
Ice Cubes and DOCs, Snoop D-O double G, the group that said "motherfuck the police."
That's Dr. Dre.
Yeah,
That's good. It's from the Chronic.
yeah.
Yep.
I have a talented girlfriend. You wait.
yeah.
We're gonna show
Good
her
things
up.
to come. Love money, gang.
We're gonna be posting some more stuff on our Instagram soon too. So maybe we'll get Lizzy to rap on there. So go subscribe to our Instagram. Again, the Rough and Tumble Podcast. THE Rough and Tumble Podcast.
Are you gonna post that?
THE.
Yeah, everybody keeps forgetting to put the.
I know. Well, people have asked 1,000 times, like, is it ROUGH or is it RUFF? And I'm like, what? Is this? It's not fucking
Rough.
DMX.
Yeah, I'm not
Like-
Rough Riders.
Oh,
That's what I was thinking.
But then again, you've talked about how much you like that one president that was in the Rough Riders. What's his name?
what?
The
Okay, it's time to wrap things up here.
Which one? Donald Trump?
Yeah, you remember he took out the Native Americans in the Rough Riders? It's history right there. In the Battle of Iwo Jima.
None of that's true. You're making all that
Battle
up.
of Iwo Jima.
No one's ever heard of that.
What is that guy's name? He
Which
had the
one?
glasses. He was the one that was the. Remember we talked about him when we talked about American Rough and Tumble. He boxed.
Whoever figures it out first
Oh,
gets a
Are
free
you talking-
patch.
not
Teddy Roosevelt.
Teddy Roosevelt.
There we go.
yeah.
Bingo. Teddy Roosevelt. Anyways,
He was. That guy's my spirit animal.
but that's probably that could be why
That
they
guy's
think
my
it's
spirit animal.
RUFF.
That's
Wait,
probably what it is.
did he spell it like that?
Lame.
Teddy Roosevelt.
Was it RUFF?
He was in the
Riders?
Rough Riders, wasn't he?
Or was that just DMX that spelled it?
I think
that
it was
way?
just DMX that spelled it that way.
Mm,
We should
Well-
do a whole episode on Teddy Roosevelt.
yeah.
That
I
guy
think
was a
we do
fucking monster
that. Yeah.
in a
He
good
was.
way. Savage. Ever tell you about the time that I put
Don't
it?
say savage.
Sorry.
What? I will
Is
have
that
you.
trigger?
Huh?
You
A
just
little.
said spirit animal. Now I said savage.
Yeah. Go
Those
ahead.
are. You guys realize that I'm part Native American. I'm allowed to say these things. Why do you guys say that?
Isn't everybody part Native
Everybody.
American?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's not cultural appropriation when it is of your culture. My great grandmother was 100% Cherokee.
Oh, I thought we were
Okay.
just saying not to say it because it was like
No.
a white girl thing to say.
I don't.
No.
Yeah, that's all I was saying.
Oh no, I was saying it legitimately. Like I have.
Mitch
a
had to
spirit
take
animal.
it to another level.
I'm Native American.
Okay.
All right. So thanks for listening to the Rough and
Why
Tumble
would you
podcast.
guys not believe me?
Lizzy's gonna call us out. Okay. The Instagram, you need to subscribe to it
Mm-hmm.
for good content. Cause
We need to hit 200 followers. What are we at?
That's
We're
the
like-
next stop.
Yeah.
Is
We got, like-
Clint our official meme maker?
Yeah, Clint's the meme maker. Thanks,
Clint,
Clint.
shout out. I mean, dude.
Yeah,
They're so
good job.
just
He's-
one after another. So
There's
good.
he sends me a lot that I just simply can't post.
What?
140. We have
Why don't you
140
send them
followers.
to me? I want to see him.
Okay, yeah, there is one that
Clint,
you
send him
really
to me
like.
also. I want to see him.
Apparently they get around the gym, the ones that don't get posted. Everybody in the gym
It's
sees
not
them.
the only thing that gets around the gym.
Heyo.
Cole Miller.
Oh no.
gave us-
Oh, here we go.
Cole Miller said that that he thinks that our seminar was probably pretty awesome.
Cole Miller said.
Garrett Stallings.
Cole Miller, Mitch here wants to suck your dick. Just letting you know.
That's not true, Cole. Unless
No.
Nah, I didn't say that. Garrett Stallings said that seminar was amazing, full of great techniques and camaraderie, just crappy spelling.
Oh,
Yep.
that's probably true.
We didn't talk about any geography during the seminar.
What did we
That's
spell
probably good.
wrong?
Huh?
What did we spell wrong? What's he
Oh,
referring
I
to?
don't know.
What are you referring to, Garrett?
I thought that was just general, like,
Yeah.
you're bad spellers.
Oh my
We
buddy.
did bad math.
Oh, it's because it says the old Rough and Stumble seminar was awesome. Always a blast catching up and learning from you, man.
Oh.
I think maybe we spelled it wrong on the
Rough and stumble.
somebody. We had to have misspelled it on the
It's like
On
a
the
play on
Instagram or
words.
something.
I hope so.
I like
That'd be
it. Maybe.
awesome. The Rough and Humble podcast.
because I know I posted Cone 1 or Cone 1 and all.
Yeah.
I did make some spellings wrong.
That's okay. Autocorrect. Why don't people just get over it and we move on with their lives? I hate every Reddit post I've ever made. I put a comma in the wrong spot or misspell something. I don't capitalize.
Dude, Reddit is a fucking bitch to edit.
Yeah. And then
Dude, I'll tell you who's nailing it lately. Matt Blank. You remember him? You know Matt.
Yeah.
He's one of my buddies. Dude, he's killing it out there in Arizona.
on Reddit.
No, just I don't know about Reddit. Is
Oh,
he?
just in general.
Just in general.
Yeah, he's got the Undisputed Gym, and he had who has the black belt blueprint? What's that guy's name? Nick Gregorius?
Nicholas Marigali.
No. Nick
Gregoria.
Yeah, he had him out there for a long time.
Yeah.
Mr. Dring was on his his little thing, his
Yeah, dude,
website.
he's out there hustling, man. He competes a shit ton too, man.
Mm-hmm.
He's got some, he just grinds it out.
You know what I found out? I had applied for Fight to Win like a year ago, and I thought that they never replied back. Or like I signed up for a Fight to Win, and I thought that they had never replied back. And then I was going through my junk email.
And they did?
Yeah, and they did. Somehow I either deleted it without realizing it, or it got sent straight to my junk.
That's too funny.
You
And
know, I
they
was
said,
like-
no, you're not eligible.
They were like, "We'll pay you like $3,000."
Yeah. We've heard you were kind of a big deal.
Another missed opportunity. Could have met myself from the future, but I forgot. Yeah. What if? But I guess future self would know that I forgot and probably just didn't show up.
That's probably what it is. Yeah, he didn't show up.
Nah, that's what it is. He knew that I was gonna forget. Didn't show up. Next time, buddy. I'll see you next time, future Johnny.
We got to talk about time traveling next time.
Oh, that would be a really good one. I love that idea. I just
Of
love
the idea of time traveling?
Yes. Who doesn't? I mean, you
I
can't
agree.
not, right? Like,
I agree. There's just so many rules. That's the unfortunate part. Like there's so many things you have to make sure. Look at, I mean, Quantum Leap was a good example. Back to the Future itself.
Yeah. Stephen Hawking thinks that you cannot go back into the future, only forward.
Oh, that's interesting.
Because it works like static or feedback
once it's already done
on a microphone. No, think about how feedback on a microphone works.
No idea how it does.
Okay, let's say that this is the microphone, and I put the speaker that the microphone has picked up here.
Right.
The sound goes in, comes out the speaker, then goes back into the microphone, comes back out, and so it creates static. It's a loop, and basically that's what he thinks happens if we time travel into the past. You can't see into the past. You can't go into the past because it creates a loop that creates static.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. Because I mean, if I even time traveled into an hour from now, or an hour behind us, I've now written myself. I would have seen myself.
Yeah, and you're catching up with where you currently were.
Yeah, exactly.
So instead, if you move to the future, then
you're going.
Time
you're
is
going
catching
forward.
up with you.
Yeah, that makes sense, man.
What about like the Elon Musk theory that like we're all just?
I also that's
the human experience. Right? Is that they're like we're all part of we're in a game or something like that?
How about how about
avatar?
how that relates to why we see or why we feel ghosts? Like, do you think that that's just like a loop that
Yeah, that's
we
what
were
I told.
in?
We mean Johnny talked about that
Oh, really?
on one of the first episodes when we talked about ghosts and stuff. That's what I believe. I believe, and I'm glad I'm not the only person now. So I believe that when we like for all these haunted places like Heber Springs, whatever the Crescent Hotel, it's always the same thing, right? You always see the same lady, the same cat, the same piano, and I think it's because it's on a loop. I think that something in the time-space continuum has ripped or shredded or made a jump off track.
I think an energy was left behind.
Yeah, like
right.
an energy.
Something is just going zoop,
Like a blueprint that's just
it's just
constantly
on repeat.
repeating.
Yeah. I agree 100% with
It's an
that.
interesting theory.
It really is.
Yeah.
Because we've already mathematically proven the existence of gravity. We've mathematically proven
You know
the
what I wanna
existence of
do?
time.
Stop talking because I want to tell you about what I want to do.
And go.
I want to book a trip to the Crescent Hotel for all
Yes.
three of us, and we
And
do a
then
do it.
podcast in the room.
Now, let's do it now.
Let's
Dude,
do it.
Oh my gosh, let's do it.
100% down.
Let's spend your $250 on a room
Yeah.
at the Crescent Hotel.
Isn't that such a
We
good
could totally
idea?
do that.
Yeah.
And there's
do it.
even
We'd have to have a laptop.
yeah. Well, honestly, we could bring my computer. We would just
Good luck getting it to work in the haunted hotel.
Oh, all I need is to plug it in. It doesn't need
How
internet.
are you going to get internet connection?
You don't need internet connection.
It wouldn't be
I guess-
alive.
I guess you're
It'd
right,
be
yeah.
like
Yeah. There's other ways too. So in the future,
nerve wracking.
when we
Wait, how are we
get
going to...
when we get a new one, we'll get new mic stands too. Because spoiler alert, we're gonna be moving studios, and so we're gonna have to we're gonna be a traveling podcast for a while. But there's a way to record straight into an SD card. So you basically could take that mixer, not this one, but a nicer one. You take that with you, record straight into the SD card, so you don't need anything.
Did you guys bake a cake before I got here?
No, it's this damn candle that she bought, dude. It smells like fucking cookies, and
All
it makes
I
me
want
hungry
right now is brownies.
all the time.
I just assumed that Lizzy was
Bob,
baking.
can we go get brownies?
Oh my gosh.
We have food.
I really want to say no, but my body's telling me yes.
All it takes is time. See,
Yeah.
you wore her down.
And she's gonna get mad at me later for not telling her no. And she knows better. She knows that I can't say no. And that's why we don't have sweets in the house, because they eat them all.
No, yeah, because I buy them and he eats them all.
Yeah.
I use the
Do you want me to help you or not?
No, I don't want you to.
I eat all the
Eat it all.
junk food that comes in the house
So that you don't
she
have
doesn't
to.
eat it.
Exactly.
everybody knows that.
Yeah.
Jesus.
I have no self-control with sugar.
My biggest dietary faux pas is I eat giant bowls of Lucky Charms
Really?
at like 10:30 at night in the bed.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I'll do that.
You want to know where it came from? I'll tell you.
Okay.
So here's why I do it. So my dad was really strict growing up. So most of the things I do as an adult are because of that. Mm-hmm. And so I was only allowed to have one bowl of cereal. We had 4 kids, right? Well, I'm the oldest of 6, but 4 of them lived in my house. The other ones were born after the fact. And so we had to make groceries last, obviously. I get it now as an adult. But I was only allowed to have one bowl of cereal before school every morning.
Should we make a huge fucking bowl?
No, we never had the daddy bowl. And so I remember one time I never knew if my dad was home or not, right? Because he would work from 6 to 6, but sometimes he'd get home much later than 6 in the morning. Sometimes he was home earlier than 6. It just, you never really knew. And so, and usually if he was home, the door to the bedroom was shut, which opened up into the kitchen anyways. Well, this one morning it wasn't. And so I was like, well, Dad must not be home. Otherwise he would have shut the door so we can sleep. And I made 2 bowls of cereal. He didn't say a word to me. I get home from school. All day I've had this great day because I started the day off with 2 bowls of Lucky Charms. Like, the day cannot get better, right? And I get home and out of nowhere, like I'm doing my homework.
The Lucky Harm?
Yeah, dude. He walked over and he goes, "You know the rule. Only 1 bowl of cereal." And I was like, "Yes, sir." And so I told myself, when I get older, if I want fucking cereal. So now I have a giant, what I call the daddy bowl. And so about 3 times a week. About
You're
10:30,
lucky.
11
See,
o'clock.
I never got Lucky Charms or any brand name cereal. And when
Oh,
we
yeah.
did buy cereal, it was like,
It was in
It's
a
called,
bag.
it's called Malto Meal.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
the name of the. So I say Lucky Charms because it's just easier, right? Same reason everybody says, "You guys want a Coke?" Yeah, what kind? Dr. Pepper, right? So
No.
I grew up calling.
Those are different.
I agree with you on that.
I don't say that.
But I grew up, everything was Coke, and then you had to determine which one of those you wanted.
that's interesting.
Yeah.
People from Louisiana don't have a really very big vocabulary.
No, we only know like 6 words.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like Coke? Yeah.
Wow, Mitch, you're doing well for yourself.
One of them is Hard A. Hard A Mart.
Yeah, that was me. So I have a more traumatizing story of why I am a sugar addict.
This is why me and Johnny
figured
can't
this
get
out-
into knife fights.
Yeah, I figured this out this weekend, and it's never dawned on me. And
Why?
then I
Because
figured it out.
diabetes runs in your family?
Well, that too. Anyways, when I lived in Germany, we lived on the Turkish border for a brief time, and my mom and I rode the bus every morning, and my mom could speak German enough to sound like she was stupid. I didn't speak any German.
She sounded like the Inglorious like Brad Pitt from Inglorious
Yeah,
Bastards.
yeah.
Ribadarchi.
A Riverdurch.
they thought she was German, but just a stupid German.
Just a stupid German.
And I spoke just nothing but English. I thought when people spoke German, they were saying bad words, which I still kind of think that. But anyways, there was a U.S. soldier that got on to the bus in uniform, and a Turkish man walked up behind him and stuck a shiv up his in his spine and killed him.
Whoa.
And so that is the place where you want to hit if you're trying to stop somebody. Anyways, and they closed the door. He was like on the first step, and the guy ran off, and they closed the door and started to drive off. The guy fell over, and that's when they figured out that something happened. Anyway, so this, of course, terrified us and my mom, and was afraid that we were going to get attacked or something. So her idea was when we would ride the bus, she would take gummy bears and M&Ms, and anytime I would start talking, she'd just shove them in my mouth to shut me up. And so every time I'd be like, "Mom," and I'd get a bunch of M&Ms in my mouth. And so now when I talk, I expect sweet things. I expect food and goodies.
So anytime your mouth is open.
Yeah, that's why I'm always talking.
I want food.
Why isn't anybody feeding me?
You guys knew the rules.
I've said so many words somewhere.
What did you guys do in your family?
Yeah.
Not that.
It created this like weird complex.
That is weird. That's interesting.
Yeah. I think that's why I love sugar so much. Yeah,
like that,
my dad like couldn't go to Walmart without buying a whole chocolate cake
Because of your mom?
What?
and coming.
A whole chocolate
he actually,
cake?
my mom like
Oh.
banned him. His favorite like dessert is like those German chocolate fudge cakes that are just like layers and layers of fudge. And so my mom banned him from going to the grocery store because every time he went, he came back with a cake.
Wow, this sounds like our future. Go ahead.
Yeah, pretty much. Do you want to go get brownies after this?
And pizza.
And
I'm not
pizza?
answering that question.
My favorite dessert in the entire world
Ice cream.
is ice cream mixed with cake.
Oh yeah.
Like taking cake and actually mixing it up.
Oh
Gross.
my god, that makes
Oh my
me
god,
wanna
that's the
vomit.
most. How
Were you one of
what
those
in the
kids that
world?
waited till your ice cream to melt before you ate
I like
it?
to eat it like it is.
Bleh.
It's so good.
Geed.
Wedding cake is like my most favorite like sweets. Like that tasted like the almond.
Is that a flavor?
Like the wedding cakes, they do taste different like
Yeah, a
than a
little
normal
bit.
white cake.
It's
They
They're a
have-
little bit
called
more
wedding cake?
delicate. Like
Yeah.
the name of the flavor?
The icing and like it has like an almond flavor to
It's called
it.
wedding cake.
Yeah.
it was birthday
Like
cake.
have you ever been to a wedding and had cake?
Think of birthday cake flavor.
Yeah, but it wasn't called wedding cake. It was called
Well,
chocolate.
okay,
or,
well it's not
red
the
velvet.
chocolate, it's like the white almond. Anyway,
traditional wedding.
I found out the hard way that red velvet was not a flavor.
Ugh, red velvet's disgusting.
Did you know if
You know it's just chocolate cake, right?
No.
That's it. It's just
No,
chocolate
it has
cake.
like other stuff in
No,
it.
it doesn't.
I
found that out.
It has red
It
velvet.
just has red velvet dye in it. That's it.
Oh.
I know. It blew my mind too. I was like, I love red
You know
velvet
why
cake.
I don't like it is because every time it's made, it has what is it? The
Red dye number 4.
no,
It
what's
interacts with your Ritalin.
cream? What kind of cream?
Oh
Not sour cream.
Yeah, it has sour cream.
no!
No.
Does it have sour cream and chives?
Cream cheese icing. I hate cream cheese icing. I
Lizzy
cannot
doesn't like
stand
sour
it.
cream and chives on her wedding cake.
No, I don't either.
I
That's
really
gross.
don't like chocolate cake that much either.
I love.
Do we like chocolate
I love cake. Do we like chocolate cake? Do we?
Do we?
Well, what kind of question?
I mean,
is that?
when are we ever eating chocolate
do
cake?
we like chocolate cake? I don't know. I like chocolate cake.
Okay, it's time to wrap up the podcast.
What kind of question? I
It
like
says-
chocolate and I like cake.
Is red velvet cake just chocolate cake? Yes. Red food coloring is used in red velvet cake, though both types of cake contain cacao. Chocolate cake is lacking that buttermilk and vinegar combination that is so important to red velvet. You were right. The two cakes have a similar cocoa taste, but red velvet is much more fine and rich than chocolate because apparently it uses buttermilk and vinegar.
Ew.
All right. Well,
Would never have
Okay.
guessed vinegar.
Well,
on that, we're expecting your rough and tumble red velvet cakes in the mail, and we love you. This is it. So, yeah, subscribe to the Patreon and our Instagram and our YouTube, and listen to us on iTunes, Google Play,
Are you playing with his
Spotify,
feet?
and you can get feet pics from me if you
No,
Venmo me
you
or
have-
subscribe to my OnlyFans. And
$100 each.
There's
$100.
not a lot that Johnny won't do for
I'll
me.
send you Polaroids of my feet. Anyways, love you. Bye.
Bye.
See ya.